Okay, it should be on the right one now. I hope. Okay. Are we good? There we go.
No, because you didn't play your opener.
I know we didn't play my opener, but it's okay. Hang on, guys. Am I on the right one now? On the right video? Okay. And I completely forgot to update my titles for Twitch and Kick as well. Whoops. Oh no. Where did I there we go. I know you guys didn't get the you guys didn't get the intro. I apologize. Turtle boy stuff. No, I'm just gonna title it that and put that on Kick and you. I see you, Devin. How you doing, man? All right. Yes, this one. We're on the right one. All right, guys. We're on the right one now. I think we should be. Intro or we riot. Let's go ahead and riot then. Okay. Kick is updated. Twitch is updated. Okay. Well, yep. There we go. All right. So the two things we're going to talk about. One is about this guy. I mean, the nickname is FAPA. FAPA. First Amendment Protection Agency. It sounds like the that fake freedom to breathe agency thing. That Lena used to think like a fake government agency. Apparently this guy has been making the rains. And somebody wanted me to cover at least one of his videos, so that's what I'm doing. And the second one we're going to be talking about is this whole Turtle Boy shenanigans. So we're going to take a look at that as well. Let's do it. There you go. Lori Marie, thank you for the 7 months. And Chaos, thank you for becoming a member as well. Hopefully the thing will trigger. If the alerts aren't doing well, I apologize. I'm still working out the kinks on that. All right. So let's do this. This is what is like. It's this latest video where he got arrested again. Let's go.
Just walk around recording stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a problem with that?
No, not in my world. Sir, will you please leave this area?
No.
Damien, thank you for the 9 months.
Yeah, no, you are, dude. You were just crying to the cop like she is. We also have a
I appreciate it, man.
insurance agency office here. Auto, home, business, and life insurance. The insurance agency. How you doing?
How you doing?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Who are you with?
I'm sorry?
What are you doing?
What am I doing? Recording? Same thing as you.
David Girl, thank you for the $5. I tried to talk to this to this guy. He thinks he's doing the same thing as military. I mean, part of me feels like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the volume is low. 1 second. Part of me feels like, I don't know for some of these guys whether they are that delusional of themselves that they think that they think that that's what they're doing, or whether again they say these things for the purpose of outrage baiting. I feel like in a lot of instances it's the latter, where they're just saying these things just to get you pissed off, just so you can keep watching their videos.
Why?
Why? Why are you recording?
Because you look weird.
I look weird? Do I look weird?
You look creepy.
I look creepy. Why do I look
Yeah, I mean,
creepy?
Who are you with and why are you...
I'm out here by myself. I don't know if you can see that, but
You work for some entity or something?
no. Okay, awesome. Just keep an eye on her for a second, I guess.
the first thing is I'm not sure why he's doing the First Amendment audit, or the alleged First Amendment audit at a private business. I'll keep on asking these questions to these guys forever and ever. They'll give some half-assed excuse, but we all know the reason they do this is because they know that they can get I feel like they can more easily get a rise out of private individuals or private businesses than they can with government workers.
Seems as though it's just her in the office. Not sure. See what happens now.
What's your name?
I'm sorry?
What is your name?
I'm not, the way you're acting right now, I'm not gonna give that to you.
Okay.
Okay.
He's 6'8".
Join the Me Too movement.
Oh my god.
Come on. Here she is. Hey, just out of curiosity. Oh no, personally I can. So you're just gonna leave the building unattended? Can I go in?
No, sir, you cannot go in that office.
Why is that?
I refuse you to go into that office.
Why?
I refuse your business.
I know, I'm saying why.
Why are you harassing people?
I'm not.
You are by
Am
just
I raising
taking my video.
Oh, I am?
What is wrong with you?
I'm trying to have a conversation. Maybe you're not understanding
You're
me.
not asking for a conversation, you're harassing me.
Well, you came out here looking for a conversation. I could have been done.
Hey, Daddy was standing there videoing me. Oh, I just didn't want him to tell him.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit, man. What can we do
Absolutely.
for you?
No, nothing. I'm good. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
What are you videoing for?
You can put whatever reason you want to it, man.
You want us to do tricks?
If you know any. What cool tricks you got?
Well, actually, there's this cool trick where you can come in here and find out if you're qualified for the Marine Corps, you know?
Ah!
More
No. All right, you know what? I respect that. Recruiter's gonna recruit. I respect the hustle.
You, but...
Yeah, I'm not really a military guy.
Oh, yeah. What'd you say?
So I'm not really a military guy as of right now. Could change in the future though.
Yeah.
I actually just had knee surgery not long ago, 2 of them. So
Like ACL or what?
meniscus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I put a young man in about a year ago. Okay.
Really?
Yep. He's a Marine today.
That's cool.
So what do you want to do?
I'm just chilling here for right now.
No, I mean for like a job.
Oh, this is.
I love it. He's going right into the pitch. You know what? Epic tier salesman right here.
Like videography?
Yep.
Gotcha. It's
Yes,
a
sir.
possibility in the Marine Corps, man.
I know. I heard. I actually had somebody come out here and tell me the same thing.
Sergeant Cordic, probably one of my dudes.
He was in the sunglasses and the black sweatshirt,
Yeah, real handsome.
khaki pants. Real handsome, more handsome than me, man.
Gotcha. All right.
What was your name?
Staff Sergeant Williams.
Staff Sergeant Williams.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, sir. I appreciate it.
Man, for sure, for sure. Well, I guess don't be scared. Don't be scared of them or anything crazy.
Nobody
Are
scares
you
me,
trying to
man.
get reactions out of people or what?
I mean,
Hey, there it is. Hey, you know what? And he knows exactly what's up too.
I don't try, but I definitely get them.
So what are you on YouTube?
I'm on a bunch of different platforms, man. I don't know where it goes until the video's done, until I'm done.
He
So
knows.
if you were to title this video, what are you gonna title it as?
Well, I've been out here for like a good 6-7 hours out here in Augusta, so.
I'm sorry.
Why, you don't like the city? No?
Yeah, that's why I'm out here trying to save kids from it, you know what I mean?
Heard that. Heard
From
that,
here?
man. Well, I'm doing the same thing. I'm out here doing the exact same thing.
What do you mean?
I'm out here protecting people, man.
Protecting people?
Yes, sir.
Am I recording them?
Well, enjoy it, man.
Alrighty, take it easy, boss.
You too.
Man, so distraught. Look at this. Look at this. So distraught over a phone. Up in arms over a phone. Look at that.
Hey, dummy.
Can't even-
I see you.
Can't even handle herself.
This is my, yeah, dummy. This is my first encounter with this individual.
What to do. Doesn't even know what to do. I don't think she does, though.
Hey, I think the Dr. Nimrod says, "Am I right in thinking that as they make new laws stop riders, we lose our freedoms because of stupidity?" Or I have the wrong end of the stick. It's very possible. That's the unfortunate reality, is that a lot of these guys, a vast majority of First Amendment auditors, they really toe that line between what is and isn't protected. So when the state tries to make a law to try and counteract auditors, they can cross that line, and it can be an impingement on people's transparency and people's rights until they're challenged in the court. So that's the reality. It's like, yeah, you know how a lot of those guys were. I remember several years ago, those I forget what they were called. They were basically these guys, but for like the Second Amendment, right? And they would just have their long rifles slung over their shoulder, or and walking down or walking into a private business, right? And then they go in full force and they make a scene out of it. And what happens? A lot of those businesses, a lot of those major corporations, they say no guns permitted on any of our businesses. And so by abusing what they would have, like an open carry law, they are invariably inhibiting, other people's rights by doing that. I mean, that's the closest comparison I could give, or the closest analogy I can give to what these First Amendment auditors do.
Hey, you want to know something?
So,
She just came out here and was recording me, and then she went inside and cried. Like,
yeah, dude. I mean, you're aggravating her, brother. Leave her alone.
how so?
You're standing there videoing her, man.
She came out here and did the same thing, and then wants to go in and
Yeah,
cry
I
some
get it, bro.
crocodile tears.
She's trying to prove a point. Man.
Yeah, well, it's not working.
I know.
It
Obviously.
didn't work
I mean,
very
you're
well.
just standing out here trying to get a rise out of somebody. Like, if that's what your YouTube.
Didn't I already say no?
This is obviously what you're trying to do.
Well,
Marine guy knows what's up.
then why even ask a question
See,
if you think
you're
you already know the
argumentative.
answer?
You're being argumentative. Your whole purpose behind your YouTube is for you to get a rise out of somebody while videoing. You're shaking your head, yes, right? So yes.
Well, no, I'm listening to you. I'm
Okay.
just-
So what's the purpose of your YouTube, or whatever platform it is you're doing?
I'm not on a
What are you
platform.
doing contributing to society?
It doesn't seem like you actually want to have a conversation, so
I do. I'm asking you a question.
no.
He's
Not
asking
being
a question.
argumentative.
Sure. I can have a conversation, dude.
No, I'm
what
good.
is your
I'm
purpose?
not gonna have a conversation with you.
Oh, he's mad because the Marine nailed him. The Marine figured him out real quick. Staff Sergeant, I should say. Thank you, Navy Girl, for the $5. He admitted that he's a Chili fan. Yeah.
Okay, man. Well, enjoy whatever you're doing.
I will.
Just leave the old lady alone. She's just minding her own business.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone now. See this big guy right here. There we go. That was quick. Let's just go and get the license plate. 110 GV4595K. Ah, big bad guy with a phone, huh? Military guy, scared of an iPhone 12.
This obviously he's, I guess, out here trying to make some money on YouTube or whatever he's doing. I don't know. He's just been standing up for the insurance lady.
Ah!
She's already went, I guess, been crying over there. She just wants him to leave, and he's here with the camera. So that's it. Okay. I've asked him some questions. But
I think this guy's been crying a little bit too. Probably went back in his office and pouted a bit. Yeah, take it easy, big guy. Go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that the moment the officer comes in, the officers at play, like, this is where the performance begins. I wonder why that is, because I feel like the fact that he's talking this up, I mean, this is pure speculation, but I feel like the only reason why he's talking this up and now he's talking crap to the Marine guy is because the officer's there, and that if the Marine guy decided to do something foolish, I might add, that the officer that the cops that he hates will protect him. His shield,
Hey,
as
this
it were.
guy has a camera. Be careful. This guy's got a body cam going. Hey, can I just ask name and badge number just so I know who came out?
Yeah, sure. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Fair enough. I wish you could see inside a little more here. Unfortunate.
Hello.
Hey, this guy's got a body cam going. Be careful. No, I'm good.
Good?
I'm
Here,
good.
maybe if you want to
No,
figure out
maybe
how to get a real
not. Maybe
job,
not.
you can figure out how to get a real job.
Okay, buddy. Go back in and be scared of phones. Go cry.
Scared of phones.
Yeah, no, you are, dude. You were just crying to the cop like she is. I had mad respect for you the first time you came out, but now it's pretty much gone.
Good job.
Yeah. Pound sand, buddy.
Wait, this guy already has 5 arrests in 2 months? Bro, he's speed running. He's speed running auditing. You know, you're supposed to do is spread those things out, man. You're supposed to work your way up to the federal charges that what's his face has now.
What's going on, man? You a military guy? You a military guy? No? You going in here? Could you want to just throw these back in there for me? Thanks, I'd appreciate that. Tell him it's from the camera guy. Hey, you want to hold that door open a little more?
Yep.
These guys. Babies. Babies. I had much respect.
Sir, will you please leave this area?
No.
If she asks you to leave this property, you need to leave.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a public area, guy.
This is private property.
No, it's not. This is a public shopping area. No, it absolutely is.
It's all private businesses.
No. Yes, it is a private business. That's why I haven't entered.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So this is also owned by
No,
private
it's not.
businesses.
No, it's not.
Upsetting.
Promise you.
Please
No,
leave.
it's not. Write me a formal trespass then.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect.
All right. So my name's Deputy Prola. My computer number is C as in Charles 918.
Okay.
All right. Do you have your ID on you?
No, I'm not giving it to you.
Okay. Well, I need your information for criminal trespass.
No,
Okay. So are you refusing to identify yourself? For
Absolutely.
Criminal trespass?
it's not a criminal trespass. What law have I
If
broken?
she asks you to leave.
Right?
Okay. So criminal trespass is the law.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So if she asks you to leave.
So I believe I believe Kokinda talked about this. That the sidewalk area in strip malls are considered to be can be considered extensions of the private property, and thus permit people to trespass individuals who are on that sidewalk. Now my understanding is, like, if you're in the parking lot, they may be able to stick around there, but my understanding is that the sidewalk area of a strip mall can be considered as an extension of the private property. It depends, like Grixie said, it depends on the situation, and I think there are probably other court cases, but Kokinda talked about that when it came to the USPS. Or private walkway, I think is the better way of describing it, because in Kokinda, the way it was like Kokinda involved the USPS location, and like there was like a sidewalk that was like connected, or there was a private walkway that was connected to the actual public sidewalk, and the court said that the public sidewalk is public, whereas the private walkway is not public, and therefore that they can the USPS can hold can regulate that area and tell people to, and those are considered to be limited public forums.
Okay, where was I? Leave where?
The property right here.
This isn't their property.
I've read
It
this
is.
property.
Okay, ma'am, I'm done with the crocodile tears. I no longer want to
So
talk to
this
you.
is her property.
No, it's not.
It is. If
No,
she
it's
asks you
not.
to leave, they need to leave the property.
Okay.
This is not public property.
Okay.
It is private property.
All right. Perfect.
So you go over there.
All right.
Now.
No, I'm not gonna move.
All right, cool.
You want to involve yourself with this? I'm gonna give you an opportunity right now. This is what you want to do?
This is exactly what I
Okay.
want.
Perfect.
Do you want to come grab this? Or you know him?
Are y'all together?
Do you know him?
I don't need to say anything.
Okay, alright, well, let me get this other hand. Alright, you want to pass it
Come
off
take
to
it.
this one?
Sure.
Just keep recording. Alright, man, he requested that I leave this stuff with you.
Okay.
It's his wallet and charger. Yeah, in his
Alright.
pocket. He didn't feel like he had anything else on him.
No
so
keys? He didn't have keys on him?
I didn't feel any keys in his
Okay,
pockets.
okay.
So.
So is he going somewhere?
Yes, he's going to jail.
My bad. Yeah, I go. Wait. I travel. Hold on. I want to see this. I travel the country doing First Amendment audits on municipalities and public buildings, holding our public employees accountable on how they treat the public and making sure our rights are not infringed upon. Bro, you were in a private business. You weren't at a public building. You were at a private business. So, yeah, well done. Anyway. All right. So what is all right? So I know very, very little about this Turtle Boy thing. All I know is that Kate from Masshole Report used to work with him way back in the day, and then there was a falling out, and then that's it. I know that that's genuinely all I know about this situation. But apparently folks want me to read up on this. So we're going to take a look at long crime networks. Everybody say I should be thankful that I don't know much about it. Then should I be watching these videos? I don't know. We'll see.
A controversial case out of Massachusetts has the area divided. Did Karen Reed murder her cop boyfriend, or was it a police cover-up? Just 2 months removed from the trial, the story is already gaining national attention.
I expect this case to be tried in both the media and in the courtroom.
To understand where the case is headed, we have to begin in January 2022. Karen Reed and her boyfriend, 46-year-old John O'Keefe, went out for drinks in Canton, Massachusetts, about 20 miles south of Boston. Surveillance video shows the pair together that night. Both had several drinks. After that, they hopped into Reed's SUV and headed to the home of Brian Albert, a fellow Boston police officer with O'Keefe. Reed's defense says she didn't stay and instead went back to O'Keefe's house. When she woke up hours later, O'Keefe wasn't home. Ring video shows Reed backing out of the driveway early that morning, leaving O'Keefe's home in the midst of a snowstorm to look for him. The defense says as she backed up, Reed hit a parked car in the driveway, damaging one of her taillights. Reed called Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert's sister-in-law, who she had seen earlier in the night. The pair and O'Keefe's friend Carrie Roberts discovered his body in a snowbank outside of Brian Albert's home. 911 was called at about 6 o'clock on January 29th. O'Keefe was pronounced dead just before 8 o'clock that morning. Upon inspecting his body, a medical examiner found cuts above O'Keefe's eye, near his nose, and the back of his head. His brain had been bleeding with multiple skull fractures. The ME also noted hypothermia contributed to his death. On the scene, the Massachusetts Special Emergency Response Team found broken plastic near O'Keefe's body. The pieces were red and white, matching Reed's broken taillight. Prosecutors say Reed was drunk and crashed into O'Keefe while behind the wheel. She was arrested after his death and now faces charges of second-degree murder, motor vehicle manslaughter, and leaving the scene of a collision. But all that was just the start.
From the very beginning of this case, we have questioned the neutrality and the bias of Michael Proctor and certain other government witnesses. based on overwhelming facts that we've learned, overwhelming facts that establish that both this investigator and this investigation are compromised. That's why we...
The lead investigator in the case is Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor, who the defense argues has a close relationship with the Albert family. O'Keefe's body was found outside of Brian Albert's home. And to complicate things even more, Jennifer McCabe, the woman with Karen Reed when O'Keefe's body was discovered, is Brian Albert's sister-in-law. The defense argues this is a major conflict of interest.
Trooper Proctor's mother refers to the Albert family as the Proctor's second family. So one might actually ask Mr. Morrissey, who's actually lying in this case? Is it us?
Okay.
We just presented the court with factual information that was procured off of social media that it's unassailable. It cannot be assailed.
In a hearing just last week, Reed's defense attorney Alan Jackson highlighted the alleged relationship, saying there are photos of Proctor and Albert in a wedding together. He also alleges there have been meetings between Proctor, the lead investigator, and witnesses in the case.
We find out during the pendency of this case on September 25th, 2023, that one of those family members, Jennifer McCabe, who's the subject of great interest in this case and a primary person of interest in this case, is invited to Trooper Proctor's personal home for some sort of off-the-books meeting. Do we know about this meeting? Because Trooper Proctor, upon learning this, that Jennifer McCabe was coming to his house, ran back to the office and filed a police report, a supplemental report explaining this meeting, this off-the-books meeting. No, he never disclosed it. We found out about this because a concerned citizen happened to photograph Jennifer McCabe's car parked outside Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's personal residence in the evening after hours. And the best that counsel for Elizabeth Proctor can muster in terms of an argument is to say, well, you know what, Your Honor, maybe he wasn't home. Maybe. Or maybe not. The suspicious part is Trooper Proctor isn't saying. And there's nothing in Elizabeth Proctor's motion to suggest that he wasn't home. Certainly his car was there. Elizabeth Proctor's car was there, and Jennifer McCabe's car was there. Was Trooper Proctor home? I guess I would answer that by asking the question, does it matter if Trooper Proctor was home? They've now admitted that Jennifer McCabe, a central character in the middle of this investigation, in the middle of this crime, was secretly meeting and or socializing with the lead investigator and or his wife in the living room of their home. And that, Your Honor, is a problem. And it shows more than a professional connection. It shows a personal connection. And according to the Proctor family's own counsel, Elizabeth Proctor's counsel, the subject matter of that meeting was commiserating about this case. They weren't talking about sports. They weren't talking about the weather. They were meeting about this case. So how does that not show a bias, and how does that not implicate?
Okay, so I've already lost a couple of the names here. Trooper Proctor is the deceased, and then he's saying McCabe is the, I guess the sister-in-law of and so they're saying that the sister-in-law met personally with or has been having personal meetings with the lead investigator of this case. The Proctor is the lead investigator. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I gotta do this again. I apologize. I apologize.
Based on overwhelming facts that we've learned, overwhelming facts that establish that both this investigator and this investigation are compromised. That's why we...
The lead investigator in the case is Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor, who the defense argues has a close relationship with the Albert family. O'Keefe's body was found outside of Brian Albert's home. And to complicate things even more...
So Okay, so who's Albert? Albert is the is related to the defendant? Reed? O'Keefe is the deceased.
More, Jennifer McCabe, the woman with Karen Reed when O'Keefe's body was...
Wait.
Even more, Jennifer McCabe, the woman with Karen Reed when O'Keefe's body was discovered, is Brian Albert's sister-in-law. The defense argues this is a major conflict of interest.
Trooper Proctor's mother refers to the Albert family as the Proctor's second family. So one might actually ask Mr. Morrissey, who's actually lying in this case? Is it us? We just presented the court with factual information that was procured off of social media that it's unassailable. It cannot be assailed.
In a hearing just last week, Reed's defense attorney, Alan Jackson, highlighted the alleged relationship, saying there are photos of Proctor and Albert in a wedding together. He also alleges there have been meetings between Proctor, the lead investigator, and witnesses in the case.
Okay, and now O'Keefe is deceased. Proctor is the lead investigator. Who the hell is Albert? Is Albert the friend? Oh my. Okay, who the hell has the flowchart? Okay, I need the flowchart for this. All right. Karen Reed case flow chart. Albert is the friend where the okay, Albert was the friend where they found the body. And he's a cop friend. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now I understand. Proctor is allegedly close friends with Albert, who is the cop friend of O'Keefe, and it was Albert's property where O'Keefe's body was found. And so I guess the defense is trying to say that Albert and Proctor are in cahoots to try and frame Karen Reed for the murder.
We find out during the pendency of this case on September 25th, 2023, that one of those family members, Jennifer McCabe, who's the subject of great interest in this case and a primary person of interest in this case, is invited to Trooper Proctor's personal home.
Did I get it?
Sort of off-the-books meeting. Do we know about this meeting? Because Trooper Proctor, upon learning this, that Jennifer McCabe was coming to his house, ran back to the office and filed a police report, a supplemental report explaining this meeting, this off-the-books meeting. No, he never disclosed it. We found out about this because a concerned citizen happened to photograph Jennifer McCabe's car parked outside Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's personal residence in the evening after hours. And the best that counsel for Elizabeth Proctor can muster in terms of an argument is to say, well, you know what, Your Honor, maybe he wasn't home. Maybe. Or maybe not. The suspicious part is Trooper Proctor isn't saying. And there's nothing in Elizabeth Proctor's motion to suggest that he wasn't home. Certainly his car was there. Elizabeth Proctor's car was there, and Jennifer McCabe's car was there. Was Trooper Proctor home? I guess I would answer that by asking the question, does it matter if Trooper Proctor was home? They've now admitted that Jennifer McCabe, a central character in the middle of this investigation, in the middle of this crime, was secretly meeting and or socializing with the lead investigator and or his wife in the living room of their home. And that, Your Honor, is a problem. And it shows more than a professional connection. It shows a personal connection. And according to the Proctor family's own counsel, Elizabeth Proctor's counsel, the subject matter of that meeting was commiserating about this case. They weren't talking about sports.
Navy Girl, thank you for the $5. TB is claiming that Brian Albert's son is responsible for the death. He was 17 and wasn't home however, you're saying he was 17 and wasn't home at the time. Yeah, I'm kind of missing the part where I guess Turtle Boy injects himself into his investigation, but I'm sure I'm going to figure that one out later on.
They weren't talking about the weather. They were meeting about this case. So how does that not show a bias, and how does that not implicate Karen Reed's constitutional rights to this information? And to this day, the Commonwealth has yet to concede what obviously is now sort of front page news, that there is in fact a personal relationship between the Proctors and their second family, the Albert McCabe family.
But the assistant district attorney says this relationship is distant at best.
The relationship, as the Commonwealth understands it, between essentially Trooper Proctor and Miss McCabe is that Trooper Proctor has a sister who has a friend who has a sister who has a husband who has a brother who has a wife who has a sister who is Jennifer McCabe.
The defense, though, still points the finger at Albert and McCabe, the latter whom defense attorneys previously alleged searched, quote, how long to die in the cold the day of O'Keefe's death.
How could Trooper Proctor be expected to adequately and honestly investigate this case as the lead investigator and also investigate the Albert McCabe involvement in this case with this history of an interpersonal relationship and allegiance to those very people, the very third-party culprits, the very people who should be suspects in John O'Keefe's murder?
This leads to another facet of the case, a potential police cover-up. After one of Reed's initial court appearances, defense attorney David Yannetti says he received a call from a tipster saying the case against Reed is a police cover-up. The defense
Oh God, please tell me Turtle Boy isn't the tipster.
now alleges Brian Albert beat up O'Keefe the night of his death and left him outside to die. To make sense of this theory and to understand the case as a whole, we spoke to Massachusetts native and criminal defense attorney Matthew Timpanic. But the narrative here is one that's really interesting. A lot of people believe, and the defense is saying, Karen Reed is innocent. The death of John O'Keefe is actually a police cover-up. How do you think that will play into the defense?
It will all depend on who you get as a jury. So if you're the defense, you're looking for people who are open to the idea that the police covered up this crime, that are at least open up to the idea. The reason is the prosecution has to prove each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense does not have to prove anything. And if you find people who are at least open to the idea that they can't eliminate that possibility that it was a police cover-up, Karen Reed is acquitted at trial. So, like I said, jury selection will be vital in order to find a jury that is just going to base their verdict on the facts and evidence presented at trial.
And you just mentioned the very important thing here, that the burden of proof is on the Commonwealth. So if it's their goal to yield a conviction, what do you think that they're going to present when it comes time to trial? Any theories about what we can expect?
They're going to present their theory about how John O'Keefe died. I believe I saw in the indictment that they found bits of Karen Reed's car on John O'Keefe from I believe it was a taillight or something like that, and they were able to match that. That's circumstantial evidence of potentially guilt. But at the same time, you got to put Karen Reed in the driver's seat at the time of the incident in question, as opposed to her car just potentially being used, or a car that's similar to hers being used to commit the murder of John O'Keefe. It will all depend. They need to be able to put her in the area at the time in question. They need to put her in the driver's seat of the vehicle that was used to kill John O'Keefe. And they also got to eliminate any kind of possible doubt that this was in fact a police cover-up. Usually in these types of cases, defense attorneys don't really give away their defense strategy this far ahead of trial, but they're using this aggressive an approach to see if they can get this case dismissed before this even goes to a jury trial, because the publicity on this case has been huge. But what you can expect at trial is more of the same argument from the defense.
And what you were talking about is that taillight there. That is a huge piece of evidence in this case. And you spoke about having her SUV there. Maybe they could prove that it was there, but to actually have Karen Reed in the driver's seat, I mean, that to me, I just hear reasonable doubt. How can we 100% prove that she was in the driver's seat? I mean, how would they even try to go about proving that?
They need to have some kind of witness that either put her in the driver's seat, or people who did not see her at the house, at the after party, or at the bar, and that she was the only one who had access to these keys that were put into the car. They're going to find out, was her car locked? Was she the only one who had access to it? Was it in a common area? Some other individual could have picked it up, driven her car, killed John O'Keefe, and came back to the party. All of that is going to be flushed out at trial. And you're going to see, based on the opening statements from each case, who is going to present facts and evidence and who is going to present conjecture. It's possible that both sides believe they are presenting facts and evidence. But remember, the jury is the fact finder, and they will decide what facts are relevant in trial.
Tim Panic says seating a jury in this case will be wildly important, but likely very difficult. But there are signs all over that say free Karen Read or Karen Read is innocent. How on earth is a jury going to be seated in this case with all this publicity?
Well, what's definitely going to happen is the jury selection is going to probably take a week, 2 weeks minimum, because you need to weed out all of the people who might have a preconceived notion or a bias about this case. It's going to be very difficult to find 12 people who are going to sit on this case to decide the facts, who have no preconceived notions. Because like you said...
But I mean, most high-profile cases are going to be like that. So
there is signs everywhere. People are wearing shirts. Every Boston Herald article is about it, every Boston Globe article. So jury selection is going to be vital to finding an impartial jury for this case.
Then there's the contentious issue of law enforcement.
It will all come down to jury selection, because that's one of the things. How do you feel about law enforcement? Have you had a negative experience? Do you think that negative experience would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? You need to find people that are open to hearing what the prosecution has to say and is not going to make a determination until they hear all the facts and evidence. You don't want somebody coming in with a shirt of free Karen Read underneath whatever they're wearing, who've already made a determination, or Karen Read is guilty. You want somebody who's going to hear the evidence so we can get a verdict that's based on the facts and the evidence presented at trial, not before and not after.
It's the high-profile nature of the case altogether that may have led to the tip and subsequent police cover-up theory.
What happens in these types of cases, especially with high publicity, everybody wants to be like, hey, I know this. I saw who killed Kennedy. I know who killed John O'Keefe. It is all about whether they can actually prove that and whether that is factual. Anybody can say anything that, oh, this is what actually happened. But what the defense has used is that they've taken this tip and used that as this is proof that there is a cover-up. We need to unwind the thread or something like that to actually figure out who actually killed them. And the longer you keep a jury thinking about, oh, well, we just can't be sure, that's how you get reasonable doubt at trial. If a jury throughout their entire deliberations cannot agree on a unanimous verdict, there is at least a mistrial grounds, or they all agree that the case hasn't been proven at trial and she's acquitted.
And it's not just tipsters hoping to get involved. There's also an interesting aspect to this case. An area blogger, he goes by the name Turtle Boy. He's been indicted in relation to this case for harassing several witnesses. So how does that play into Karen Read's trial?
It's likely evidence that's going to be excluded. His whole, what he's saying is I have evidence of this and I've been indicted. I don't see how the evidence is relevant, and his actions intimidating are outside the scope of this case. So it's possible he might play in the defense case. He might even be called as a witness here, what they found. But that's definitely something that's going to be decided in a motion and eliminate by the judge, being like, here's what his evidence is. Is this admissible at trial? And a judge might do a 403B analysis, which means that it's potentially relevant evidence, but its probative value is outweighed by prejudicial effect to basically confuse the jury. So I definitely think that his testimony, whatever he can bring to the table, would probably be decided at a motion and eliminate before it were done at trial.
Known as Turtle Boy, Aidan Kearney has been indicted on more than a dozen counts of witness intimidation. He was arrested this fall after penning many posts in support of Read and confronting witnesses. This topic of witness safety was touched on just last week.
We all know that the September 25 meeting was about harassment and what these two women had been going through on the news media with the extreme harassment that they were suffering as a result of their being witnesses on a case and cooperating with the government's prosecution of Ms. Reed.
The defense also made some major motions, including to dismiss the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office from the case.
One motion to dismiss and one motion for sanctions and also for disqualification of the Norfolk County DA's office from this case. So,
all right.
Wow.
I think they were looking to get a letter from the feds impounded, which I believe was granted. I definitely don't see that the judge granting the motion for recusal and the motion for sanctions, because then it would be open season on every district attorney that, hey, if you want to get your case dismissed, do exactly what Karen Reed's attorneys have done throughout the case. And then it could lead to a recusal sent to another jurisdiction who might have differing opinions. I just don't think the judge is going to allow that slippery slope. It is always the hope of every attorney to try to get a case dismissed, but the methods with which Ms. Reed's attorneys are doing are very, very aggressive, moving for sanctions, moving for recusal of DAs. Those are very, very limited exceptions, and trying to get that actually get the case dismissed using those grounds, and very seldom are they granted. I definitely think that this case is going to eventually have to be decided by a jury based on the facts and evidence presented at trial. Both sides have completely differing views about what the facts in the evidence that will be presented in this case are. And it's up to a judge and jury to make that final determination, what is relevant and admissible and what is factual, and for the case to decide the verdict.
Then there's also the matter of the federal grand jury, essentially investigating the murder investigation itself. Reports say state witnesses have been subpoenaed to appear in front of the grand jury. Tim Panic says this could be a win for the defense.
Yeah.
Federal grand juries are secret by nature, so I definitely think that plays toward Karen Reed's defense.
Okay, yeah, yeah, you guys are right. This entire thing is a complete shit show. What is happening?
I believe the motion was itself impounded today by the state, by the judge, and I definitely think the jury's going to be wondering if it ever comes out or if it's ever admitted into trial. What are they investigating? Are they investigating somebody else committed the death of John O'Keefe, or are they investigating the Boston Police Department for actual corruption and a cover-up? So it's definitely, if it's admitted, it opens up a whole new can of worms in this case that would take the case to places no prosecutor or defense attorney could ever imagine.
While the case has already received a decent amount of attention, Tim Panic says he believes the interest will only grow as the case moves forward to trial. If we're looking ahead to the trial in March when it's set to begin, what do you expect?
I expect this case to be tried in both the media and in the courtroom. The biggest thing is, if you're the prosecutor, is keep the evidence and the case based on the facts. Don't play the defense's game. Don't try to basically right off the bat try to eliminate every conspiracy and talk about and do their job for them. You need to present your case and prove your burden. And then when the defense goes, then they get to put on their case and you can attack their case. If you're the defense, your case is reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt. The conspiracy, the cover-up, that's basically your plan B if we're using terms from The Practice, the TV show. It's like, hey, if we can't beat them on reasonable doubt, we can point the finger at anything else.
Plan B them.
Kind of tip their hand about what they're going to do. It's most likely going to be a situation where Jennifer McCabe is the one who is actually the driver of the vehicle, because they're claiming that she, before anybody knew John O'Keefe's body was out in the cold, that he was dead, she searches on Google, how long does it take for someone to die in the cold? That is very likely where their plan B is going to go if they can't get the case kicked on reasonable doubt, or they think that the state actually, well, the Commonwealth, proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt. That's where I think they'd go with the case.
What do you think about Karen Reed testifying? Should she take the stand?
I honestly don't think she should. The reason is unless they make their case, by they I mean the Commonwealth, you just open yourself up to many different avenues, all of which you can't account for. When the defendant takes the stand, their testimony is based on what you asked on direct. So if you're the defense counsel and you call your client as a witness, you have to make the avenues for which you are asking the questions very narrow, because if you don't, you open yourself up to questions you didn't want asked on cross from the prosecution. And I just don't see this type of case. I think she wants all the other witnesses to tell her story for her without her taking the stand.
The case is expected to head to trial on March 12th. Reed has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Stay with Law and Crime Network for gavel-to-gavel coverage of court proceedings. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Oh my God.
The wires.
All right, so I guess I'm now going into this one. This is from Masshole Report. Hang on a second here.
Chris Albert, when am I?
Okay, so these are the Alberts. Hang on, I'll give you 1 second. I gotta check something. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Am I gonna get? Why don't you give it to me? You fucking punk ass bitch. Think I'm scared of you? Think I'm scared of your fucking thug piece of shit brother Brian? You think I'm scared of your fucking pussy son Colin? Oh, I can't wait to see Colin. I'm gonna have a lot of questions for Colin. And something tells me he won't be able to control his temper like you did. He can get some. He can get some too. There won't be a dog there to back him up this time. I'm not afraid of your stupid son. Believe me, I could kick the shit out of your stupid son. That's a prom photo. I guess this is a prom with Colin. Yes, I figured that one out. Yeah, it's a prom one. So I guess they went to the prom together. So that's how close they are. So that's fine. You can get some too, Michelle. You got an address too, right? We can knock on your door as well. We can talk to your daughters. We can make things real comfortable. So you wanted to jump in the arena with Jen McCabe. You get the Jen McCabe treatment. That's how we're doing things, because it is unacceptable in this day and age to be supporting cop killers vocally online. Unacceptable. And we're going to make it that way. So keep fucking with me. Keep fucking with me. So Michelle O'Toole Gallery has 2 daughters. They're twins. Yeah, they hang out with this fucking asshole. There's her stupid there's your stupid kids, Michelle Gallery. Your stupid cunt daughters. That's what they fucking are. Hanging out with this fucking worthless piece of shit, Colin fucking Albert. The fact that you're okay with that says everything I need to know about you, quite frankly. There they are. I think, is that one of them? Uh-huh.
Rude.
Oh, here they are with the McCabe girls. Okay, with one of the McCabes. So there's her. Oh, there they are. There's your stupid kids. Right. Michelle, just because your comment, your stupid kids are going on the blog too. We're going to expose them. I mean, if you defend Jen McCabe, let it be known. You're fair. Like, you are entering the fucking arena. Bang, bang. You're entering the arena. People forget about Chris Albert. I mean, look at that face, by the way. Look at that face. That is the face of a man who he knows he's being photographed. He's pissed. He's not happy about it. Like, I confronted this guy a couple weeks ago. This guy's got his head on a swivel everywhere now. He's like, Tartaros, where are they? I got bad news for you, Chris. I got really bad news for you. They're literally everywhere. You can't, you guys should just stop going out in public. Like, that'd be my recommendation. And it's only going to get worse from here. He's obviously, when I saw him, this dude is ready and looking around. They insist on going out in public. Chris, I know where you guys were today. Y'all were in Agawam, weren't you? I got pictures of you on my cell phone. I got people sending me pictures. You guys were at some sort of little league thing in Agawam. I got pictures of Courtney Proctor. I got pictures of who was she with there? I forget. There's a whole crew here. Albert's, McCabe's, all you people were there. So like, just know that there will be no life as normal is over. Okay. I go down to your pizza shop and I
Wow. Well, if that's not an admission of wanting to completely harass people, I mean,
stand out there for an hour and I yell shit about your son. I just shit all over your child, Chris, your middle child. I go down there and I shit all over him and I accuse him of some of the most heinous things possible. And I affect business. People don't want to go into your business because of the things that I'm saying. I'm telling cars going by what your family did and what you're being accused of and what you've done to cover this thing up and what a scumbag you are and how you don't pay your bills. And I'm standing there. And you know where you were, Chris? Hiding in the back. Yeah, he came out afterwards. People saw him come out afterwards. He was there the whole time. And you're going to do nothing about it because I'm your daddy now, Chris. And if Julie Albert's watching, Julie, how you doing, Julie? I think you were a turtle rider, Julie, right? I bet you, Julie, that the biggest thing you ever feared as a turtle rider was ending up on Turtle Boy, wasn't it? I bet you that, you know what I'm talking about. I bet you that was I'm just talking to Julie. Just her and I are having a one-on-one conversation here right now. You know what I'm talking about, Julie. You know what I'm talking about. So I bet you feared this, didn't you? And that makes me so happy because you should. And it was, you feared getting on one time. Now you're on old.
Is this YouTube channel still up or has it been taken down since he got arrested? My understanding, obviously he got indicted, but is he locked up right now or is he out?
Time.
This ends. I would recommend, if you don't feel uncomfortable, talk to Chris Albert about it. Talk to Chris Albert. All he has to do is come clean and get his son to admit what he did and get his brother to admit what he did, and then this thing's over. Then there's no more going to kids' games and interviewing and going to your goddamn pizza shop. It all fucking ends. So I'm sick of
succumb to it and admit your alleged wrongdoing, and then I'll stop stalking you and your kids in public. That's a fantastic look there.
You're playing right into their hands if you do this whole like, oh, we can't leave kids out of it. We're not bringing kids into it. They're hiding behind children. They're hiding behind them. Okay?
Chaos Warden, thank you for the $10. This video is the attack of the Albert family because Bully's the family killed O'Keefe. Every person who's bringing up is a witness. Yeah, that's my understanding. Is everybody who he's talking about are witnesses for the prosecution.
Like back there in World War II, the fucking Japanese would hide in goddamn caves with kids. And you know what we did? Napalm the fuck out of it.
What the fuck? What the hell is that analogy?
Because, sorry, like you don't get out of my way. You stop hiding behind kids. It's not our fault. It's their fault. They're the ones that hid behind kids. Okay? Karen Reed would like to be free too, but she can't. So the second Chris Albert does the right thing, this shit ends. It ends. Sick of these people hiding behind kids and shit like that. Enough.
The pizza's coming. The red stuff is the marinara sauce, folks. It's blood. Blood pizza. Covered in blood. If you eat it, you're just as bad as they are. Unless you're really hungry and you're starving and you need food to survive. But other than that, if you're just eating it for fun, probably go to another pizza shop. Hey, Chris! We miss
you, Chris. Come play.
Every time, no joke. Every time Albert opened up that door, I would stick my head in there and I'd look in and I'd yell something and I'd see his face. He's so mad.
So like, yeah, if you do this enough, I mean, that's that could be grounds for harassment if you do it enough times and you collect the number of times. Yeah,
He was so mad. And I love it. I love that I can
I
do
have
this
no
to
idea,
him whenever
Deacon.
I want. So to
Hey, think of the $5. He's a self-described award-winning journalist. Gotcha.
Chris, like, I'm gonna do a lot more, dude. You better get used to me. Chris, I will stop when you come clean. That's it. You just gotta come clean. You gotta end this to Karen. You can't do this to Karen Reed anymore. We're not gonna allow it to happen. And now he has the nerve to accuse Karen Reed, a completely innocent woman, of murder. Do you feel at all sad about that, Chris?
Thank you for the 5, Navy girl.
Sad about that. Chris, why'd you bring a notebook if you didn't take any notes? Chris, why'd you do that?
Look at the cross.
I'm gonna wait until he answers the
You really have a cross? You have a crucifix? How are you gonna have a crucifix if you're going to hell? How are you gonna have a crucifix if you're going to hell? Chris.
If he's judgment proof, then there's really not much they can do, Jassa. Sadly. Well, yeah, they're real. Actually, no. There's not much they can do. Except for maybe getting a restraining order or a protective order. But they can't like stop him from talking about them. Especially if he's judgment proof.
Chris, you've hit enough people with your car. You've hit enough people with your car, Chris, okay? Take it easy, Chris.
Oh, you're filming it. I don't know.
Take it easy, Chris.
Crack it. I don't want to get hurt either.
Step aside, please.
Shameful. Shameful.
I'm not the only
Shameful.
Why are you surrounding me? I'm not
Shame on you, Chris. You're a disgrace.
I just played. Thank you for the
Daddy's
$10. If I recall correctly, they found communication between TB and Reed, which is part of why he got indicted for witness intimidation. Freaking out due to luckily having CP on his devices. What? Oh God. Oh God, it gets even worse. Yeah, Masshole. I see you in chat. I'm now introducing myself to this rabbit hole. So, it's a complete shit show. What is happening?
I'm not going to bang you. We're not going to be a couple because I think you're an evil cunt, but I feel bad for your kids. And I feel like they should have a male, like a real man in their life that can teach them manly shit. And I'll be that guy. I'll teach your kids how to throw a curveball, do all the shit that dads are supposed to do. I'll take care of all that stuff. I'll even let them pick their own gender, just like with Janetti's kid. Okay? They're my kids now. And that is my promise to you, Lizzie Proctor, because your children, I would just want you to let you know this, Lizzie Proctor, when you're watching this, like your worst fear is going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing, Lizzie, you can do about this. Your two boys are going to grow up without a father. I want you to let that sink in. I want you to really think about that. This is the home of conflicted state trooper Michael Proctor. It appears as if does he still? Oh, you notice he's got a turtle crossing thing there. He put that up. Some people thought that a turtle rider put that up, and we're now told that he put that up, and that's kind of speaks to how arrogant he is. That he's almost like mocking us. They do have a private property sign now, which is smart because I've knocked on his door a couple weeks ago, and he's a state trooper, so he knows that if he puts that up, then we cannot step on his property, which is fine. It also appears as if they've taken down the thin blue line flag, which is good because Michael Proctor doesn't care about murdered police officers who sacrificed their lives, and because he covered one up. Now he pretends to because he arrested.
Okay, so I'm looking up on some earlier things. Apparently 2 weeks ago he got even more indictments. But there was okay, so I see two videos that we could take a look at. One was from 2 months ago, and then from 2 months ago where he was initially indicted, and then 2 weeks ago where he got more indictments.
And charged a woman that not only is factually innocent, but that he knows is factually innocent. And I don't understand how any person can put someone in a box for the rest of their life knowing that that person did nothing wrong. Like the amount of ways that the man who lives inside this house
with this lovely family. Well, except for his wife, but for the rest of half of his family's lovely, at least. The man who lives in this house knows that Karen Reed did not kill John O'Keefe. And he knows that he wants to protect all sorts of Canton people.
Right. Yeah, Kate, folks already told me that he's still currently behind bars. Yeah.
Who were there that night?
I did not.
Oh, God, what is this?
Hello? Hey, this call's recorded. Is this Elizabeth Proctor?
Oh, my God.
Why did she say yes? Like, that's the part that I don't get. Why did she say yes? Why didn't she just be like, click? Like, you're a cop's, like, Michael Proctor would have hung up at that point. As soon as he heard this call's being recorded, something's up here. She's like, yes. Like, people call me all the time, like, is this Turtle Boy? And I'm like, just don't respond. I'm not giving you that satisfaction. Fuck no. Did she think you were a Fed? I don't know what she thought. I don't know. Let's just call her right now. Fuck it. I'm sure she's watching. Probably not going to answer, but let's just call her. She did sound nervous. You're right. She did sound nervous.
All right. I mean, all right. Yeah, I'm learning as I'm watching.
Call her right now. 617-780.
Still amazed at how this guy was able to inject himself completely and utterly into this case. Then, oh my goodness. Am I going to need a drink for this?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 617-780-7193 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Elizabeth. This is Eden.
Lauren De Laguna, she's simping for this guy? Oh, for fuck. Well, she's a clout goblin. Ugh, weird small world. All right, I'll be right back. And if she said that she's on Nick, as in Nick Rakita, was Turtle Boy on Nick Rakita? I hope that that's not referring to Nick Rakita. Oh, for fuck. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I'm gonna need a drink. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll be right back. All these worlds are colliding together, and it's very annoying to me right now. I know Rakita, look, he and I probably disagree on a lot in terms of the law, because we're not exactly politically aligned. But the fact that he actually is playing up Turtle Boy is really cringe. And then Laura De Laguna, I know her. I actually know her from Destiny's channel, and then stumbling into where she's involved herself with the crazy bastard from Las Vegas, and then she randomly jumped on the Paul Unslave stream when I was there. Yeah, whatever. This is nuts.
Carney calling you back from Turtle Boy. We briefly spoke yesterday on the phone. I introduced myself to you, and then you hung up on me, or maybe it was a bad connection. But I just wanted to see how your day at work went today, if it went well. I noticed that your employer took down.
Yeah, also Lauren de Laguna is also like the former lover of Farmer Bro, Martin Shkreli.
Social media pages within minutes of the blog I published about your recent behavior. And I just wanted to see, what is it awkward? Were you afraid to go in? Just tell me about your day and why. Because that's the part I don't understand, is that you seem to be okay with calling other people's workplaces and interfering with their ability to make a living for themselves. But when it happens to you, maybe it's not as fun. Maybe it's not as fun. Do you like that? That's what I want to know. Did you like that? Like, because you've been doing that to a lot of other people, and do you think it's fair that it happened to you, dear? Do you regret it? That's another. Do you regret it? And what's your scumbag husband up to right now? Are you going to visit him in prison? Do you think they'll have conjugal visits? Give me a call back when you get this, and we could chat some more. Bye, girl. All right, so she didn't answer. We'll see if she calls back. So this woman is just a piece of work, and like I said, she worked at least a company in Norwood, in human resources, which is just too ironic, for a company called Instron. And let's see, is their Facebook page down? Let's see. It's gone. It's fucking gone. That was quick. That's gone. You can't reply on the Twitter. Or did they take the whole Twitter down? The tweets are protected. The Turtle Boy effect. Oh, God. Is this picture of Elizabeth Proctor still up? Is that still up? The plate H500, that car's registered to Matt McCabe. And so we ran the plates because I wanted to make sure that those are the Proctor's cars in the driveway.
Oh, my God.
And I ran this car. That's Michael Proctor's. It came back to him. And then this one came back to Lizzie Proctor. That's a cop killer right there. Cop killer. Cop killer. That's what you are. That's all you're ever going to be, is a cop killer. Disgusting. Disgusting. It's not the old days anymore, Jen. You don't just get to walk around living like a law-abiding citizen. You participated in the murder and cover-up of said murder. And for that, you don't get to just go to your kids' games uninterrupted.
Their state indictments?
Things are about to get really uncomfortable for you now, just to let you know that. Especially now that I know that I'm getting to you. Ho, ho, ho. That was a mistake. That was a huge mistake. Because now it's like time to accelerate, and that's not a threat. That's me saying that I'm going to keep questioning you, and I know that it's a sensitive issue now because you want to keep going to your daughter's games. She's really upset about the way that this is affecting your kids. Again, another weakness. Thank you, Jen, for highlighting that. So I know when the next game is for Can High School lacrosse.
Jesus Christ, dude. Sorry.
I'll just put it that way.
Sorry to my
town
Christian
that I like that I've visited
subs, but
recently as well.
This is
and spoke at. And they wear the same colors as your town.
Hey, what's up, Kurt?
Don't they?
Everybody, shout out to Kurt in chat, Uncivil Law.
And I can
Check
get
him
them in
out.
45 minutes. I wonder what town that could be, John. I wonder what town that could be. But at least Brian Albert has the smarts not to show up, to keep going to events and shit like that. He's not doing that. But Jen thinks she can, and I'm here to be like, nope, you can't. I'm not allowing you to do that anymore.
He has.
How are you?
How you been? All right.
So how did court go the other day?
Went great.
Sorry, do you have a child on the team?
Do you?
I do, so I'm trying to watch.
No, I'm at a public event, so I can do whatever I want. So anyway, Jen, I have a question. Did you think that you could outsmart Karen Reed? Did you? Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny? How long to die in cold?
Oh my goodness. Chaos Warden, thank you for the $10. You're not my real dad. True. The UCC says that your real dad is a straw man. Kurt. UCC 9-109. Chaos Warden for the $10. Fun fact, already the person who ran those plates for him, a police dispatcher who got fired after she was outed using a resource to get the plate. Oh my. Really? Oh my God.
What is this gentleman doing? Look at that deranged face. Hey, Jen, are you worried about what's going to happen to your family when you go to jail?
Don't touch me.
Why are you shaking,
Touch
dude?
me again.
Why are you
Touch me
shaking?
again.
And why 2 cop killers are up there? Cop killers! That's what they are. They're cop killers.
Am I a straw then? Can a DNA test determine what percent of straw you are? I don't know. You might have to you might have to 23andMe that.
So 2 cop killers don't like being asked about it. This is gets sent to me. This is Jen. She's in Aruba. And there she is with her 2 oldest daughters, who I'm sure are going to grow up and be just like her. They're on a family vacation there. And this, she's monitoring everything we're doing. And it's just like, it makes me so happy when I posted this, because it's just a reminder to her that now yous can't leave. We're not going to allow you, Jen, to live a normal life. The worst thing you ever did was go down to the courthouse and try to get an order on me. That's the dumbest thing you could have done.
True.
Now
Kurt,
I know
true.
how much it's bothering you, and that is like a green light to just accelerate. Like, okay, now we got you. Everyone's got rings.
So, all right. So I know this is an awkward place to talk about it. And I'm sure the Law and Crime Network obviously missed out on a lot of other details that have been, put out in the media as to the facts surrounding the actual case itself. Set aside what Turtle Boy's doing. Based on the limited information from Law and Crime Network, it sounds like there could be an avenue for reasonable doubt here. Not so much this cockamamie conspiracy, but more so the difficulty in placing Karen with the vehicle at the time of the murder. Again, that's the limited stuff I know. I guess I could see that, and I guess unless there's more damning evidence that's there, that seems like there could be enough reasonable doubt there to squeeze in without having to go through this mess of a conspiracy. I don't know. Maybe I just need maybe I have to dig a bit deeper.
So the door's open. Someone must be home.
I see some movement in that window on the right.
3 cars in the driveway.
In all caps, Kate says, "No, Artie." Oh boy. So I guess maybe I am missing some things.
Someone's got to be home. Hello. We'd like to sell you some candy bars for my Girl Scout troop. No. Oh, there's Jen. Let's see if they come to the door.
I mean, I'm assuming at this point they had to have gotten like some kind of a TPO out on him.
Jen in there. I think they can hear us on the ring too. So unfortunately, the McCabe's will definitely not be here. They must have heard about the rolling rally because they took yet another vacation. Never seen a family vacation that much. I mean, I guess I would too if you might be in jail at this time next year.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
They're not there because they are in Algonquin, Maine, and we had a couple turtle riders sightings up there. I don't know why they think that. I mean, we found you in Aruba. We're gonna find you in Maine, for crying out loud. And as a result, Karen Reed was charged with the murder of John O'Keefe shortly after that. So I just want all of Jen McCabe's neighbors to know, in case they don't already know, the people that live right here at 12. They're cop killers. These are cop killers, folks. These are cop killers that live here. They could have saved John O'Keefe's life. They're not. Your neighbors are cop killers. They're going to try to live life like nothing has happened, but we're not going to let them do that, because you don't get to kill police officers
and fathers and get away with it. And you certainly don't get to frame innocent people who did nothing wrong to you and send them to jail for the rest of their life, simply because you don't want to take responsibility for what your brother-in-law slash side piece did. So,
and I just want to let them know that I'm thoroughly, truly enjoying watching them squirm and struggle and cry and complain, and knowing that there's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing. They were uncomfortable on Tuesday when they had to walk through that gauntlet of court. They hated that. Oh, shouldn't have let me know that. That's like an invitation to do it louder next time. Yeah.
Constitutional presumption of innocence.
But can't read, does
Why
it?
should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community?
Okay, let me make this very clear to you, Michael. I haven't bothered, I haven't protested outside of them. Because of your stupid speech, you dumb fuck, I am going to protest them so much harder now. So there will be no peace. There will be no justice, no peace. You understand that, motherfucker? And Jen McCabe can thank your fat ass in your Friday afternoon news dump.
They should not be harassed for telling the government what they heard or saw. I'm asking the Canton community and everyone who feels invested in this case to hear.
So enough. I'm just so sick of the people being like, oh, maybe we should ease up on Jen McCabe. Maybe we shouldn't, actually. Maybe we should increase it. That's what we should do. Maybe I haven't seen Jen McCabe since the lacrosse incident, and she needs to be reminded who her daddy is. Because it's not Matt McCabe. I'm his daddy too. So maybe we need to come back. Once I heard that Jen McCabe goes out in public, once I heard that she does, like I'm like, okay, so at least Brian Albert is really doing what he's supposed to be doing, hiding like a cornered rat. Like that's what you should be doing, is moving out of Canton, picking shit up, leaving. But no, Jen McCabe is so arrogant that she insists on still living life like everything.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, you're killing me. So this has been like, I've been so deep into this case.
In fairness, I am complete. Well, hold on. Let me turn up the volume. I think it's coming in pretty low for everybody else. It's coming low for me, so it's probably coming low for everybody else. But like, I'm going in completely blind. I know nothing about this case. I mean, all I recall from years back, like 2 or 3 years ago, that you had a professional like relationship with Turtle Boy at some point, and then it went away, and that's literally all I know about who Turtle Boy is. And then this mess that everybody keeps telling me I should be following and paying attention to, I got no idea. So that's why I'm like, and I said this right out. I'm sure the Long Crime Network left out a whole bunch of details that may or may not be more damning against the defendant here.
Yeah, so I mean, I think what we're witnessing is sort of like it's not sort of, it is a very aggressive social media campaign that has really veered off the rails into criminal conduct. And just so right now, Aiden himself is charged with 8 witness intimidation charges. They were indictments, so that means they were brought up from the district court level here in Massachusetts to the Superior Court. You're familiar with the difference, or no?
Yeah. No. Actually, no. Not with not Massachusetts. No.
Yeah, because we do things a little bit strange here. So, a criminal complaint comes in from the police. It goes to the clerk magistrate, is what we call it at the district court level, and they essentially determine whether or not there's probable cause to file the charges. If they find probable cause, they file the charges in district court. District court is like the lower court here. They handle mostly misdemeanors and like less serious felonies, and they can only sentence time in the House of Corrections, which is like the county jail, up to 2.5 years. So if you want to take it further than that, you bring it up to the Superior Court, which is like the higher court here, and they deal with more serious felonies, and they can sentence state prison time. So it's a huge difference usually in the sentencing, depending on whether or not it stays in district or goes up to Superior. So he was
Gotcha.
charged in district initially. He was arrested, brought in, charged in district. They then moved it to a grand jury, which is 23 people that sit and hear these cases, just like everywhere else, right? I think it's the quorum is 12 or 13 to vote. They vote, if they return an indictment, then you're up in Superior Court. So he was brought up on more charges in Superior Court. So the original charges from district went up to the Superior, and there were some additional witness intimidation charges that went up there. So he's got
Things
8
normal.
witness intimidation charges, 5 picketing and parading charges, which is for he did something that he called a rolling rally. That's some of the videos you'll see
Yeah.
in there where he's outside of their houses. He took about 100 people from house to house in front of these state witnesses in a murder case. And he was out there yelling at them, calling them cop killers, and claiming that they were conspirators, and pressuring their neighbors to have these witnesses tell the truth, which is problematic, right?
Right.
And then he has-
Hold. So I looked over. I just did a quick search. You don't see it on the screen, but a quick search of Turtle Boy arraignment, and I see one video from Channel 5 Boston from 2 months ago. Those are I assume the initial charges, and then the one from 2 weeks ago of the new charges.
Nope. Those are additional charges in a different district court. Sorry, this is a very
Oh,
confused. Yeah. So
great.
October 11th, he was arrested at Stoughton District Court. He was charged in Stoughton District Court. Then December 22nd, he was arraigned in the Superior Court. And then December 26th, he was arraigned on new charges in Dedham District Court. We'll get to that because this is like and I'm going to go over a lot of this tomorrow too, so I won't be I won't drive you nuts with all this extraneous stuff. I am very involved in this case. I'm in daily contact with most of his victims at this point. I started looking into the Karen Reed case and his involvement because I hate the guy, so my bias is there. But I knew something was weird with this whole thing, and when I started getting information, a lot of the information that I've been able to dig up as I do is less for YouTube consumption in the immediate and stuff that you would rather turn over to the authorities. If you get what I'm saying.
Right.
I've been spending a lot of time doing that and just trying to support these people because obviously what they're going through is just harrowing. It's absolutely unforgivable. This goes beyond any little internet spats and trolling and all that stuff that we do over there. These are completely normal, innocent people that have nothing to do with this YouTube world at all, that have been absolutely dragged into this nightmare, this social media machine, which I'm confident will come out in court fairly soon, was actually led by the criminal defendant Karen Reed and her defense team, and Aiden was used essentially as a mouthpiece, as a weapon, right? So he does have.
Well, that was actually going to be my other question I had is like who's like the mastermind in this? Whether and what I mean by that is like, did Turtle Boy just stumble into this and decide to make it his own pet project, or does he actually have like a personal I don't want to say romantic, but a personal relationship with Reed that's why he's involved in this? I mean, why this case? I guess is that what I'm asking.
Strangers. Yeah, they were strangers before this by all accounts. And I have to be careful what I say. What I can say is that I have leaked some messages between Aiden and the defendant, Miss Reed, that were this is again, everything's going to be convoluted. So Karen Reed is communicating with people, directing a lot of the social media postings and the conduct here, these things that are happening. She is either directing it or giving her approval on everything. We know this for a fact. She will only communicate on Signal or with a third party intermediary. So I actually am in contact with, and this is already out in public and has already gone to the police and everything. I'm in contact with a woman who was used as an intermediary early on for several months before she couldn't do it anymore and was essentially replaced. But so I have the messages between Karen Reed and Aiden Carney using this woman Natalie as an intermediary, and you can see very clearly in these messages that Karen Reed is feeding him highly sensitive trial evidence that should not be in the public, some of which was impounded, including autopsy photos of the victim, which is particularly disturbing. Yeah, those are impounded by statute. And we know that he's getting them straight from the defense, because not only have we seen where she sent them to him now, but they're in full color, and you would never get that off the docket. It's antiquated here. Everything gets scanned in black and white. And these were fully nude autopsy photos of the victim too, the boyfriend that she was supposed to love. So that's concerning, right? So she's giving him all of this highly sensitive information with, cherry picking things. So it's, builds her conspiracy theory. She's telling him what to say, what to do, and what people he should be going after, including the victim's mother and brother. So we have messages where she tells him, go after Paul O'Keefe, who's John O'Keefe, the deceased brother. I don't want him on my side anymore. I changed my mind. We don't sit with stupid people at the cafeteria table. And I'm saying that almost verbatim, is what she told Aiden. And that's disturbing, obviously, because this is the brother of the murder victim. And also, there's no contact order in place. So she's not supposed to be contacting these people directly or indirectly, but she's sending Aiden Carney after them. And this is stuff that, is already been, I mean, you can go on Twitter. We've put out a lot of these messages already. So I would assume that Miss Reed is probably, I would put money on it that she's probably going to have some extra legal issues too. But right now, it's just Aiden that has these charges. He also
Wow.
has 3 conspiracy charges, and that's because I think you heard him say that he was running plates of the victims in their driveway.
Right.
And the way that he did that was he coerced a civilian dispatcher with the Avon police to misuse the CGIS system to pull up these license plates, and then he broadcast that information on his YouTube channel and his blog.
How was that discovered? I guess, like, who found out about that?
Well, I mean, 1,000 people that were watching his live stream, because he, in his brilliance, the criminal mastermind that he is, announced it. I ran these plates. So, I mean, CGIS, it has an audit log, right? Or something like that. So you can see who logged on and who's searching what. So all they had to do was look and see who ran these plates. And they had the woman's login right there. And so it's not hard to
Wow.
figure out. Yeah, and then from there, they went to her work. They questioned her. She gave her messages up. She admitted, yes, he asked me to run the plates, and I did. And that was that. So now they've both been indicted as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. All right. Well,
There is a lot of forensic evidence against this
Mhm.
defendant. And of course, like, what a lot of these people, they've formed this mob, and this mob is really focused on obviously proclaiming Miss Reed's innocence, but also aggressively going after these witnesses, the state's witnesses that they have determined to be conspirators in this guy's murder. And I mean, the conspiracy theory is outlandish. It's just absolutely batshit. It's hard to keep up with. And it really, I think, has been constructed out of desperation by the defense team, because if you look at just the facts of the case, what we know so far, because it hasn't gone to trial yet, they found pieces of her broken taillight near the body. They
Mhm.
found cocktail glass embedded into her bumper. The victim was last seen on camera leaving a bar with a cocktail glass in his right hand. The
Mhm.
shattered cocktail glass was next to his body as well. They have microscopic trace pieces of the taillight embedded into his clothing. His DNA is on the undercarriage of the car. They found an apparent human hair in her right rear quarter panel. There's a little bit of controversy about the hair right now. So they had it examined, and they determined that it
Mhm.
was human hair. There wasn't enough skin cells on the follicle, or whatever, at the root,
To
to
determine
be
the
able to
identity?
do. They need to do mitochondrial testing, which is exhaustive. So that's been tied up in litigation between the
Gotcha.
prosecution and the defense for a while. And of course, they'll say, oh, well, it's not even human. Look, and they're not reading the documents where it was examined and determined to be human. They just can't do the testing without doing the mitochondrial testing. So they can't determine whose it is yet.
Right.
They have statements from the victim at the scene, that she goes back, and I mean, just the way that she found the body was suspicious. She calls Jen McCabe, who he talks about a lot there, who was a friend of the victim, sister-in-law of the homeowner where the body was found, and was an acquaintance of Karen Reed's. So she uses the victim's niece, who was his he had adopted her, so she was at home. So Karen goes into the room, wakes the niece up at 4:30 in the morning, absolutely frantic, screaming at the top of her lungs, screaming that John is gone. What are they going to do? which is an odd reaction because, she just saw him around midnight. Like, why are you freaking
Mm-hmm.
out? But she wakes the niece up, takes the phone, calls Jen McCabe, and has Jen McCabe, in a panic. Then she calls another friend of the victims, Carrie Roberts, calls her. She makes a statement to her around 5 a.m. John's dead. It's snowing. I think he's dead. And no body had been found yet. It's literally she dropped him off at a party and didn't see him for a few hours, and she's calling people already and saying that he's dead. She drives around by herself for about 20 minutes. She says
Mm-hmm.
that she was canvassing the area looking for him. Nobody really knows. It looks like she was going in the direction back to the house where she had dropped him off. She doesn't admit that she went there. And then she drives to Jen McCabe's house. They drive back to the house at 34 Fairview to look at him. It's whiteout conditions, blizzard conditions. She's in the back seat of a moving vehicle, and she immediately, as they approach the spot where the body is, tells the two girls in the car, "Look, there he is. I see him." And they're confused because it's whiteout conditions and they're driving. They can't see him at all, but she knew exactly where that body was.
Gotcha. Okay. Well. Well, I guess this is just the tip of the iceberg that I'm dealing with right now, but
There's a lot of evidence against her and a lot of things and that's why I think they've pushed so hard because, I mean, he's dead. She was the last person to be seen with him. She made statements that she hit him. Right, her story has changed multiple times, and there's obviously a lot of, like, just concrete forensic evidence that would suggest that she hit him with the car. So,
Mhm.
rather than just poke holes in that, like some defense would do and say, you don't have enough to prove your case, they're aggressively pointing the finger elsewhere. But I mean, I I can't even keep up with all the twists and the turns in this conspiracy theory at this point. It makes no sense. They're claiming that he was beaten to death within minutes of entering this home for no apparent reason with no motive, that he was attacked by a dog, and then these police officers that were at this party in this home, these seasoned enforcement officials, decided the
Mhm.
best way to hide his body would be to dump it in the front yard.
Yeah, that sounds like a foolproof plan. So, I guess I'm probably gonna take a look at this. I'm still. It's just an oddball thing to see like this Turtle Boy guy just completely inject himself into this case and turn it into a complete mess. It's kind of wild to hear that the defendant is the one who's arguably pulling the strings on all this. But I guess I gotta. Oh boy, I guess I gotta do a little bit more watching, a little bit more reading as we go along. But I guess I'll be tuning in to your stream tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna start from December 22nd on because he just made a really interesting chain of decisions after getting indicted,
Oh,
to say the
interesting.
least. That culminated in a 8-hour restraining order, maybe 6 hours because I think they heard other cases that day, but somewhere between 6 and 8 hours of a restraining order hearing on Monday.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I guess after I finish this one, I'll probably listen to or watch the 2 arraignment videos that I'm seeing here. Um,
Let
the
me send you some court documents too. Obviously, you probably won't go over them now, but I'll
not
send you
now,
some of them.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll definitely have to do some evening reading.
Do you know who Alan Jackson is by any chance? Not the country music singer.
No, I only know the country music singer.
Okay. Kevin Spacey's attorney. That's one of her attorneys. He pro hoc Chaden.
Oh,
She's got a local attorney, David Yannetti. And then she
right.
got this California attorney, and he's he certainly made a spectacle of things.
Naturally.
Normal. You killed John O'Keefe, you worthless piles of shit, and I'm gonna find you, motherfucker. I'm gonna find you. Just know that. You want to fucking dance? We can fucking dance. I didn't know who you were before this. You were like John. I thought you were Jen's lesbian sister or some shit. I didn't know shit about you. Now we know all about your son Tommy, and Tommy's the lacrosse coach, I believe, at Canton High School, right? Yeah. Oh, we can talk about Tommy too. We can pay Tommy a visit too. We're gonna go after you're gonna get the whole fucking deal now, all of it. Allie McCabe, she can get it too. They can all get it. We've left the second generation out of this for a bit. That's over. Except for Brian Albert Jr., because he looks functionally retarded. But besides him, the rest of them, they're all going to get it. They're all going to get it. And by the way, that includes 75 Elm Street in Easton. Tristan, we got some questions for you, my dude. Caitlin Albert, we got some questions for you. Show up at another Bridgewater State football game. I dare you. Daddy's coming to town. These people make me sick. These people make me sick.
In the day's other headlines, nearly all.
Okay. What? All right. What's this first one?
Yes, private counsel. Okay. Mr. Reynolds, will you stand up for today? Yes. And for the Commonwealth? Yeah.
Good morning.
Oh, why does it never work like this? It always messes up. Oh,
Your Honor, Attorney Kenneth Mello, Special Prosecutor for the Commonwealth. With me is Attorney Robert Novak, also Special Prosecutor of the office. All right, good afternoon, both of you. Good afternoon, Mr. Reynolds. Mr. Mello, do you have any requests for the court? I do, Your Honor. I have a number of requests for conditions of release. Commonwealth is requesting cash bail in the amount of $1,000, GPS monitoring, stay away from all witnesses 100 yards, and that would be with the exception of court appearances that the defendant is required to attend if other witnesses are present. We're asking for a 100-yard stay away from the witnesses' homes, businesses, places of employment, and schools. We're asking for no contact with witnesses by phone, text, email, or otherwise, either directly or indirectly. We're asking that the defendant, through his blogs and internet use, not encourage, or court order him to not encourage any of his blog followers to call or visit or otherwise intimidate or harass witnesses. As Your Honor may be aware, this defendant has a blog with a rather large following, and that will get to the root of the case itself, but it appears that in the past...
Wait, what?
In the past he has... appears that he's encouraged his followers to take
they do
various
that at
actions
every
with
single
respect to
hearing.
witnesses in this matter.
Oh, wow, really?
We're asking that
Yeah,
there
it's
be
a
no
circus.
harassment of witnesses or their families, no intimidation of witnesses or their family members. We're asking that he not on his blogs or otherwise encourage his blog followers to photograph witnesses, their families, their homes, etc. As Your Honor will hear from the evidence presented by the Commonwealth's argument, the defendant has shown up at sports games attended or that were being engaged in by children of witnesses and has made scenes there using loudspeakers, etc. We're asking that he be precluded or prohibited from attending those sports games, school or otherwise, to harass witnesses. That there be no mentioning by names or other forms of identification of the witnesses on his blogs, Twitter, YouTube, etc. When I say witnesses, I'm also talking about the victims in this case, Your Honor. The victims in this case all being witnesses in another matter that the Commonwealth will address. Certainly this would not preclude the defendant from talking about other cases, but not with respect to discussing the witnesses and their family members, etc. We're asking that he have a stay-away order from D&E Pizza, and that he be precluded from encouraging his blog followers from harassing and intimidating that business, that he not contact witnesses, family members, schools, sports teams, coaches, etc. He has done that in the past, Your Honor. That he not photograph or video witnesses at home or work, and that also goes to taping, Judge. And he not contact the place of work of the witnesses or victims. And I have a large number of facts I would like to make the court aware of. I apologize for the time it's going to take. There are 9 complaints before Your Honor. Some of these facts apply to all. If I could just read that section to the court once or recite those facts and then deal with them individually. Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, on the morning of January 20th, 2022, a gentleman by the name of John O'Keefe was found unresponsive on the front lawn of 34 Fairview Drive in Canton, Massachusetts. He was transported to Good Samaritan Hospital where he was pronounced deceased. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner determined the cause of death to be blunt force to the head and hypothermia. Evidence was presented to the Norfolk County Grand Jury that indicated on the night of January 28, 2022, Reed and O'Keefe were at two Canton restaurants, C.F. McCarthy's and the Waterfall, where they met friends. And this is Karen Reed. After the Waterfall closed at shortly after midnight, Karen Reed and Mr. O'Keefe were invited to 34 Fairview Drive, Road in Canton. Witnesses stated Reed and O'Keefe did not enter 34 Fairview Road. The Norfolk Grand Jury indicted Karen Reed on second-degree murder, motor vehicle manslaughter while operating under the influence of alcohol, and leaving the scene of a motor vehicle crash causing death. The indictment alleges that Karen Reed struck O'Keefe with a motor vehicle and left the scene, and the case is currently pending in Norfolk Superior Court as docket number 2282 CR 117. The lead investigator.
Just for the record, there are many people attending.
Really? I know you already said yes, but wow.
When you hear some random
every hearing.
Oh my God. Okay. What platform are they using? Like, cause I know of it, the court. Because I know of at least several platforms where you can have people sit on automatic mute when they come in, and then only the host of the meeting can unmute them. But I guess
Zoom.
You know.
I've taken to calling, especially the ladies that follow him, the Manson chicks, because like they show up in groups to these hearings in person, or they sit on the Zoom. They have inappropriate outbursts. They clap, they cry, they scream. They go outside. I'm waiting for them to hold hands and start singing and protest and like carving stuff into their foreheads. It hasn't happened yet, but like, I mean, it's absolutely insane. And like this isn't, at least this is his arraignment. So like obviously, and I'm sure like your subscribers are like super thrilled to have me here at all, right? Because like I give people who commit crimes a certain degree of latitude. Like stuff happens, right? You know what I mean? So I can understand supporting somebody through an arraignment in certain cases, like, right? Even if you just don't know any better. But this sort of behavior spilled over to a domestic violence restraining order at the beginning of the week. You know, it's absurd the way that these people behave in court. This is actually, this is pretty good. At one of the recent Karen Reed hearings, somebody said, F you, Bev, to the judge on Zoom.
Wow.
Yeah.
From someone who has not yet been.
Thank you, Judge. The lead investigator for the investigation I've just described is Trooper Michael Proctor of Massachusetts State Police, assigned to the Norfolk State Police Detective Unit. Trooper Proctor testified before the grand jury and continues to conduct investigative work on the case. Michael Proctor is married to Elizabeth Proctor. Elizabeth is not a witness to the investigation, but a family member, as mentioned in Chapter 268, Section 13B of the General Laws. During the investigation into O'Keefe's death, witnesses were identified, interviewed, and testified before the grand jury. These civilian witnesses were present with O'Keefe and Karen Reed in the hours leading up to O'Keefe's death and his discovery on January 29, 2022. The witnesses include the following. Matthew McCabe, who was interviewed by investigators. Matthew was with O'Keefe and Reed at the Waterfall restaurant before O'Keefe's death and observed an SUV believed to be that of Karen Reed's in the front of 34 Fairview Road and he testified at the grand jury. Jennifer McCabe was interviewed by investigators. Jennifer was with O'Keefe and Reed at the Waterfall restaurant before O'Keefe's death, observed an SUV believed to be Reed's in front of 34 Fairview Road, and was with Reed when O'Keefe was found unresponsive and testified at the grand jury. Brian Albert, interviewed by investigators. Brian was with O'Keefe and Reed at the Waterfall restaurant in homeowner of 34 Fairview Road and testified at the grand jury. Julie Albert, the wife of Christopher Albert, was interviewed by investigators. Julie was with O'Keefe and Reed at the Waterfall restaurant before O'Keefe's death, and she testified at the grand jury. Chris Albert, husband of Julie, was first interviewed by investigators on February 10, 2022. Chris was with O'Keefe and Reed at the Waterfall restaurant before O'Keefe's death and testified before the grand jury. Colin Albert was interviewed by investigators. He is the son of Chris and Julie Albert. And Juliana Nagel was interviewed by investigators. She was present at 34 Fairview Drive when people were arriving from the Waterfall restaurant and observed an SUV believed to be that of Karen Reed parked in front of 34 Fairview Drive. In an April 2023 motion filed by Reed's defense attorneys, defendant's motion for order pursuant to Mass Rule of Criminal Procedure 17 directed to Brian Albert, Verizon, and AT&T, alleged police misconduct and a conspiracy among civilian witnesses to frame Reed for the death of O'Keefe. The motion calls Brian Albert a suspect and Jennifer McCabe a conspirator who took calculated steps to purge her phone of this inculpatory evidence. A local blogger, the defendant, Aidan Kearney, had adopted the defense's claims. Kearney runs a series of websites and social media accounts under the name of Turtleboy. The social media accounts include TV Daily News, X, formerly Twitter, with 33,800 followers as of last count. Aidan Kearney at Dr. Turtleboy, X, formerly Twitter, with 44,800 followers. Turtleboy, Facebook with 27,000 followers, and Turtleboy Live on YouTube with 41,000 subscribers. He refers to his followers as Turtle Riders. Now, it should be noted that the defendant on many of his sites, his websites or blogs, if you will, has a pay section where he's requesting contributions from the public to support his work, if you will. And some indications are that it's been estimated on the internet that he has raised in excess of $5 million doing so. So this is apparently a business of his.
There's me.
That he's engaged in. Beginning in April of 2023,
He didn't raise $5 million, by the way. That was a boomer moment.
And social media accounts where he adopts defense allegations as true and makes personal attacks on civilian witnesses and members of their families and their friends. Kearney authors and publishes a blog on the website.
So that right there, that's actually, so the older woman, that's John O'Keefe's mother, his sister-in-law. All these people, we all came together to witness this because, you know, it was a lot of work, and obviously they endured a lot of harassment, and I spent a lot of time putting together the puzzles, the pieces of this puzzle for the special prosecutor here so that they can move forward with charging him for indicting.
Without being a subscriber, a follower, and have been archived by investigators. Episode 594, Turtleboy returns to Canton. This is a video posted shortly after Kearney visited homes of witnesses. This is not my last trip to Canton. I will be back. I'll be back. Get used to this. These people think, pardon me, these people think I'm fucking around. You haven't seen the last of me. Get used to it at the 119 mark. Episode 598, Blakely. Karen Reed defense files motion to recuse. This guy, being Chris Albert, had his head on the swivel looking for Turtle Riders. I got bad news for you, Chris. I got really bad news for you. They are literally everywhere. You guys should just stop going out in public. It's only going to get worse from here. I know where you all were today. You were in Agawam, weren't you? You guys were at some sort of Little League thing in Agawam. Albert's, McCabe's, all you people were there. Just know that there will be no life as normal is over. Life is normal. You had normal for a while there. From January 29th to about April 2023. You guys literally got away with murder. States that at the 8-minute mark. While discussing the video of Chris Albert being confronted outside of a Canton restaurant, we, Kearney and his audience, are getting to them. Chris Albert, meaning Chris Albert and other witnesses. When you act this way, that's like a green light for me, time to hit the gas. I got pictures of you. You can't leave the fucking country, Turtle Riders. We're gonna find you. They're gonna find you. You can't hide anymore. Your private life is officially over. You leave your house, you're going to have your picture taken, so you need to get used to the new normal, your new normal. Turtle Riders are going to take pictures of you, and they're going to send it to me. You're famous. We need to accelerate it. They, the woman who recorded the video of Chris Albert confrontation, are doing a fantastic job with this. Stated that at the 24-minute mark. In episode 604, entitled Colin Albert Drops Out of School, Brian Higgins Flipping, is the end near. I said from the beginning, I don't want this to go to trial. That is this defendant's words himself. I don't want this to go to trial, referencing the Karen Reed case. On September 18, 2023, Kearney posted a blog entitled Canton Cover-Up, Part 142. Free Karen Reed. Billboard goes up on Route 1 outside Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. More to follow on his website. The topic of the blog post was about a billboard that read, Free Karen Reed, with a picture of Karen Reed. Kearney praised the organizers of the billboard. In the post, Kearney wrote, thank you to everyone who donated as well. Although millions of people know about the injustice that is happening in Norfolk County, I would bet that over half the population of Norfolk County has never heard of Karen Reed before. That will change because of this three-pronged billboard blitz. It's really time for people in Norfolk County to know about this story because that is
essentially,
Judge an admission that he's seeking to taint the jury pool in the case. On June 13th, 2023, Kearney broadcast a live YouTube video, episode 590, which is currently posted on his YouTube page. During the broadcast, Kearney displayed phone records of Jennifer McCabe from the day O'Keefe was killed. The records displayed names to the phone number, displayed names next to the phone number, which appeared to be the user of the other phone. These records had previously been an attachment to an unredacted defense motion filed in Commonwealth v. Reed. During the video broadcast, Kearney cold calls the phone numbers without names associated. In this process, he called the work cell phone of Trooper Proctor. Trooper Proctor stated the phone number that made the call was 413-262-69, and I'll omit the last two numbers, Judge. Kearney left the following voicemail. Hi, Trooper Proctor. This is award-winning journalist Aidan Kearney calling. I'm calling to talk to you. I do have some questions about you. I have a lot of questions, actually. For starters, why didn't you tell me, one, before doing the investigation, that you were good friends with the Albert family? Why did you, in the report, say that you were introduced to Chris Albert on February 10th, when you have known him for more than a decade prior to that? Why did you lie about that? What time you towed Karen Reed's car? Why did you intentionally misspell the names of several key witnesses in your report? And you know, I'm just wondering about all those things, and maybe you and I can meet for coffee. Boy, do I have a lot of questions for you. Where were you inside Fairview Drive that night, or that morning rather? Why did you stay there for 4.5 hours, and what did you guys talk about and do? Why are you standing stairs with John O'Keefe's phone in your pocket? So give me a call back, man. We feel like you and I have a lot to talk of catching up to do. I talk about you a lot. I feel like I know you pretty well at this point. I know which year you graduated from the academy. I know you were out in West Brookfield for a while. I know some people that you know, so give me a call back when you get this. Now that I have your number, and everybody watching also has your phone number, which again is 781, and I'll omit the remainder of the number. So I'd like to know. She called you again. You called her at 12:49. We're going to get to that. So now I have your number. I'm going to plug you in, and we'll talk soon. Essentially, broadcasting the trooper's number to his turtle followers, if you will, seemingly with the intent to have them also harass them. As a result of the cell phone number being broadcasted, Trooper Proctor began to receive random and harassing text messages and voicemails. In the 12 hours following Kearney's calls, Trooper Proctor received approximately a dozen text messages, phone calls, and voicemails. The content of the calls and messages pertained to Trooper Proctor's alleged involvement in the conspiracy and called for his termination. Trooper Proctor had to change his work cell phone number to avoid the constant unwanted calls and messages. Michael Proctor is married to Elizabeth Proctor. Beginning in April 2023, Kearney wrote blog posts about Elizabeth Proctor. On May 9th, 2023, Kearney authored a post about Elizabeth. A video was attached to the post. The video depicts a cell phone screen of an Apple iPhone. The user of the cell phone dials the cell phone number of Elizabeth, which is displayed on the screen. Kearney further writes, I can think of two people who deserve to lose their jobs over this. Alleged conspiracy about Karen Reed, though. Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor. These two lowlifes think they're untouchable. They're nothing but bullies who terrorized people for years, but now they've met their match, meaning the defendant. In the post, Kearney states, Elizabeth works as a human resource manager, and I'll omit the place of employment, and posts the main number for the company. The post then says, awesome, but you're probably not going to reach anyone that way, so feel free to leave a review on their wide open Facebook page or their Twitter account. On May 10th, 2023, Kearney broadcast a live YouTube video, episode 580, which is currently posted on his YouTube page. During broadcast, at the 1 minute, 6 second mark, Kearney talks about Elizabeth. He states he was going to call her. He repeated a cell phone on the broadcast, a cell phone number on the broadcast, as he was entering the number to a cell phone. Using the speakerphone option on a cell phone, Kearney broadcasted the phone call. The phone call went to voicemail. Elizabeth stated the call came from 413-262-69. I'll omit the last two. Kearney left the following message. Hi, Elizabeth. This is Aidan Kearney calling you back from Turtle Boy. We briefly spoke yesterday on the phone. I introduced myself to you, and then you hung up on me. Or maybe that was a bad connection. But I just wanted to see how your day at work went today, if it went well. I noticed that your employer took down their social media pages within 5 minutes of the blog I published about your recent behavior, and I just wanted to see what is it awkward? Were you afraid to go in? Just tell me about your day and why, because that's the part I don't understand, is that you seem to be okay with calling other people's workplaces and interfering with their ability to make a living for themselves, but when it happens to you, maybe it's not as fun, maybe it's not as fun. Do you like that? That's what I want to know. Do you like that? Because you've been doing that to a lot of other people. And do you think it's fair that it happened to you, dear? Do you regret it? Do you regret it? And what's your scumbag husband up to now? Are you going to visit him in prison? Do you think they'll have conjugal visits? Please give me a call back when you get this, and we can chat some more. Bye, girl. Following the phone call at the 108 mark, Kearney accessed the social media accounts of the company that Elizabeth worked for, and laughed as he stated the pages were taken down and stated the Turtle Boy effect, oh God. Both Mike and Elizabeth Proctor stated they felt harassed by the acts of Kieran. On Monday, September 25th, 2023, at 6:26 p.m., a Facebook account believed to be used by Kearney, which is Clarence Woods Emerson, is the name, posted the following message. Anyone in Canton want to take a couple of pictures for me? DM me, please. At 6:53 p.m., the Facebook post was edited with the phrase, update all set, thanks. On September 25th, 2023, at 8:04 p.m., an X account, formerly Twitter, associated with Kearney, posted this message and photograph. The post depicts the front of 6 Wentworth Road in Canton, home of Michael and Elizabeth Proctor. The white Jeep Wrangler in the photo belongs to Jennifer McCabe. And there are photographs that are appended to this report I'm reading from, Judge. The following day, Kearney broadcast a YouTube video, episode 617. At the 19-minute mark, Kearney stated that he ran the plates of the vehicle depicted in the photograph. Kearney showed photographs of 3 vehicles parked at the address. He showed photographs of each vehicle and stated the registered owners of the vehicles by name, Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor. The term ran in regard to a motor vehicle registration is commonly used in law enforcement. The term means the information was queried through law enforcement database for the purpose of obtaining information. Kearney used the information in a blog entitled Canton Cover-Up Part 161. Jen McCabe was seen at the Proctor's house at 6 p.m. tonight, despite allegedly not knowing them personally. I would parenthetically state, Judge, that it was later determined through an investigation by state police that a dispatcher in the local police department made contact with Kearney and unlawfully and illegally accessed the Registry of Motor Vehicles database to provide him with information he was not entitled to. Information maintained by the Registry of Motor Vehicles is accessible to law enforcement through the Criminal Justice Information Service. Authorized individuals have personalized access to the CJIS logins and accounts. Recertification standards, which include lessons and tests, continuously assert that CJIS users are trained to the standards and do not disseminate protected private information unless for a legitimate law enforcement purpose, as described in the Massachusetts Code of Regulations 803 CMR 7.09. On Tuesday, September 26, 2023, Lieutenant John Fanning of the Massachusetts State Police conducted a CJIS audit to determine if any CJIS user queried the following. Massachusetts registrations. I will omit the registrations at this point, Judge, but one is from Matthew McCabe's vehicle, who is Jennifer McCabe's husband. Another is from Michael Proctor's vehicle, another one for Elizabeth Proctor's vehicle. The audit produced results indicating that all 3 vehicles were queried by, I'll leave the individual's name out, a dispatcher from the local police department, CJIS account at 6:22:19 p.m., 7:05:43 p.m., and 7:10:44 p.m. respectively. This individual is employed as a civilian dispatcher. On Wednesday,
honest to God, this is why I just want to play video games after work. Like, I hope to God I never become like this as a YouTuber. This is just nuts. And for all of you in my chat, I love you guys, and I always appreciate you guys your support. But for the love of God, if you think I'm doing something wrong, please don't just blindly follow me like this, like a bunch of sycophants. Please call me out on it. Goodness.
September 22nd, 2023, Lieutenant First Sergeant Yuri Buchanek interviewed Webb at the Avon Police Department. Individual stated she had been employed for a period of 3 years, and goes on to indicate that the query was made at the defendant's request. I'll skip some of this, Judge. The dispatcher provided her cell phone to investigators. Investigators observed communication between the dispatcher and Clarence Wood Emerson.
Hurry, Artie. Thank you, Dave, for the $5.
On Facebook Messenger on the cell phone on September 25th at 6:18 p.m.
And this dispatcher was subsequently charged.
8 a.m.
Oh, she was charged. People are saying that she was fired, but they don't know if they were charged.
Which was a registration.
Kind of forced to resign, you know, pending an investigation. So she resigned, and then when his indictments came out, hers did too. So she has 3 conspiracy charges as well.
Dispatcher responds with a message again. Please keep me private. I don't anticipate fucking up in life and never want the wrath of you. At 7 p.m., Clarence sends the message, of course. Any chance you could run 2 more? Dispatcher, sure. Clarence sends pictures of 2 vehicles parked in the driveway at Wentworth Road. The dispatcher said Clarence, 80 blank number is Proctor. Clarence then asked about another registration. Is that Lizzie? To which the dispatcher replied, yes, Lizzie, Elizabeth Proctor. Dispatcher said she has read Turtle Boy blog posts in the past and has followed his media regarding Karen Reed closely. A check of Webb's Facebook page information publicly available relieves she is friends with Clarence Woods Emerson, dispatcher.
Thank you, Ice Play, for the $2.
And comments on content on Facebook supporting Karen Reed's innocence and copying Kearney's claim of police cover-up. On a YouTube video posted on October 2nd, 2023, Kearney acknowledged it is illegal to obtain information about the registered owner of a motor vehicle and discussed why it should be legal. I interviewed Jennifer McCabe regarding the incident. She stated she had never met Elizabeth Proctor or Michael Proctor prior to September 2023. Since the first meeting several weeks ago, Jennifer and Elizabeth have communicated regarding the constant harassment, intimidation, and public attacks. Jennifer stated they bonded over sharing the ongoing experience. She traveled to Elizabeth's home to discuss the harassment they have both been subjected to. Based upon the foregoing facts, it's probable that Aidan Kearney committed the violation of Massachusetts general laws, which is Section 13B, witness interference, intimidation of a witness. Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor, and the statute, the pertinent parts read, whoever willfully, either directly or indirectly, threatens, attempts, or causes physical, emotional, or economic injury or property damage to, conveys a gift, offer, or promise of anything of value.
I'm still listening in. I'm going to see if I can find Winston.
Person who is a witness or potential witness, person who is or was aware of information, records, documents, or objects that relate to a violation of a criminal law or a violation of conditions of probation, parole, bail, or other court order, a judge, juror, grand juror, attorney, victim witness advocate, police officer, correction officer, federal agent, investigator, clerk, court officer, court reporter, court interpreter, probation officer, or parole officer, or D, a person who is or was attending, or a person who has made known an intention to attend a proceeding described in this section, or a family member of a person described in this section, with the intent to, or with reckless disregard for the fact that it may impede, obstruct, delay, prevent, or otherwise interfere with a criminal investigation at any stage.
Can't find him.
Proceeding, a dangerous
probably underneath my bed.
Motion hearing, a trial, or other criminal proceeding of any type, or a parole hearing, parole violation proceeding, or probation violation proceeding, or administrative hearing, or a probate or family court proceeding, juvenile proceeding, housing proceeding, land proceeding, clerk's hearing, court order, mediation, or any other civil proceeding of any type, or punish, harm, or otherwise retaliate in any way against such person described in this action for such person or such person's family members' participation in any of the proceedings described in this section. And it goes on to state the penalties for that offense. Based upon the foregoing facts, Commonwealth believes it will establish a trial that Aidan Kearney committed the violation of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 274, Section 7, conspiracy to commit intimidation of a witness by entering into an agreement with the dispatcher named earlier to obtain sensitive information to be used in blog posts and videos intended to harass, intimidate, and cause emotional harm. And given the continuing harassment of witnesses for the murder of John O'Keefe, we believe that the defendant will be found guilty at time of trial should this matter go to trial. That, Judge, that recitation deals initially with Elizabeth Proctor, the wife of Trooper Proctor. Now, there are an additional 8 complaints that I have here, Judge. Much of the verbiage is that's recited is also recited in these complaints, as they obviously have to independently stand on their own. However, for purposes of this arraignment, I can skip forward, Judge, and go to just the pertinent sections for the individual victims / witnesses, because they are both in this matter. But Juliana Nagel, on Saturday, July 22nd, at approximately 1200 hours, Kearney departed Shaw's 134 Nathan Street in Norwood, accompanied by a number of motor vehicles for something publicized as a rolling road rally. Kearney began a YouTube Live video. The YouTube Live allows users to broadcast live videos on the YouTube platform, which can be later saved and distributed on a user's account. At the beginning of the video, Kearney is operating a motor vehicle and stated at least 100, 200 people are in the caravan of vehicles. He further stated that he did not broadcast the locations of the protests prior to the departure of the rolling rally. During the video, he stated, this defendant, stated the purpose of the rally is to protest the murder cover-up and framing of an innocent woman. He stated some witnesses will be in jail within a year and brags about being to locate witnesses wherever they travel. During the duration of the rally, he thanked other members of for attending the rally. Juliana Nagel, 25 years old, lives, I'll omit her address, in Canton with her 2 parents and 2 siblings. Juliana was home with her mother at the time of the protest. Juliana and her brother were present at 34 Fairview Road and had been interviewed by investigators. When Kearney arrived at 79 Highland Street, he identified the residence as her home. Kearney made a statement to get the attention of her neighbors. He described how O'Keefe was beaten to death at a house where Juliana was present. He stated at any point Julie Nagel You can come out at any point. Nothing is stopping you from telling the truth. You know what happened that night. He continued to state, you can't get away with it anymore. Too many people know. You're going down with them. Nothing is stopping you from coming forward and telling the police what happened. Kearney claims Nagel lied to investigators about her observations the night O'Keefe was killed and is complicit in the cover-up of a murder. Kearney stated, you might as well tell the truth and let the world know what happened. Neighbors, maybe you guys can help us pressure them into this. Julie Nagel was involved with, was at the murder of a Boston police officer. She knows what happened and she is actively involved in the cover-up. She should not be able to walk around town like none of this happened while an innocent woman named Karen Reed suffers the consequences of her silence and her complicity. The truth will set you free. Kearney is in front of the residents for approximately 10 minutes. At the conclusion of the speech, he stated the next location is the home of a Canton Police Department Deputy Chief, Thomas Kelleher. While traveling to the next location, Kearney stated Julie Nagel's house was a good one. They were home. And clearly, the statements he made there, Judge, is about as far as he can go to intimidating a witness as to what his intent was. During a recorded interview on the YouTube account, WristFlex, dated August 20, 2023, the defendant made comments about his influence on the jury pool. I want the world to know what happened here. They want the story to be silent, nobody knows about it. They want to be able to find a jury pool that has never heard any of this shit before they can manipulate them the way they manipulated everyone else, and I'm not allowing it. Not allowing them to do that. Happy to do it. Elite mass corruption, Churro Boy, 104 mark. Based on the foregoing facts that I've read, Judge, it's clear that the defendant committed a violation of Chapter 268, Section 13B, which is intimidation of a witness and witness interference with Juliana Nagel. I will not recite the paragraph that I recited earlier as to what the language of the statute is. And for this reason, Judge, on the second complaint docket 1151, we're going to be requesting those same conditions of release. Does it have about perhaps another hour going, or wants to take a break, or keep going, whichever Your Honor indicates?
Well, let me ask you this: the issue is bail and release conditions.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, haven't you covered that? Why should you put a bail on and certain release conditions?
There are, Judge. There are other witnesses, so I would ask that those conditions apply to each of the docket numbers. The facts are fairly similar, but as there are different witness/victims in these cases, the specific facts vary. But they're generally the same content as the
complaints issued, which means that the clerk magistrate found probable cause to issue the complaints. So that's been established.
Correct.
And I mean, if the alleged victims in the various cases were to be named, then we would, to the extent that I allow any or all of your proposed conditions, it would encompass those people, wouldn't it?
It would, Judge.
Yeah.
So I would ask Your Honor to adopt the Commonwealth's recommendation.
Yeah, bravo. It is.
Attorney Reynolds, if you go to the microphone, then perhaps Attorney Novak will slide over a little bit and tell me what is your position with regard to the Commonwealth's request for cash bail in the amount of $1,000 and the various conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. As far as the bail, we're asking for release on personal. He has no record. He lives with his family in Holding, and he has 2 children that he supports. And what we're providing here is that we don't believe that because of his record or because of his commitments that he would be a danger of flight or creating a problem in terms of needing bail. As far as the conditions go, my client states that he is a news person who is using his First Amendment rights.
Sure he is.
For a story. Now, I know that he is doing it through YouTube, through social network, but there are a lot of people who do this. And he is requesting that he still be able to do this news coverage. He vehemently denies that he's intimidating or harassing anyone. That
What? I don't know about you, but I don't know of any news journalists who personally calls witnesses and openly excoriates them publicly, doxes them, harasses a subject's children who are not involved in the overriding case. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know of any reputable journalist who actually does that.
Oh, well,
My
part of the
unders-
conspiracy theory is that the Colin Albert, the one that they go after a lot, he was 17 when John O'Keefe died. They are trying to say that he beat this guy to death, a
Oh
17-year-old
my
boy.
God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ruined his life. I shouldn't chuckle, but I mean, it's just so ridiculous. I mean, really ruined this kid's life.
The trooper involved is a public figure, that there is a potential selectman involved, that he goes to meetings, and he feels as if that he should be allowed under his First Amendment right to pursue his story. Now, as we go through it in terms of the threats, I just would like to point out that when I read the statements that the prosecutor stated, I see opinion. I don't see threats under the way my client is acting. I said from the beginning, I don't want to go to trial. Most people don't want to go to trial. That's an opinion. That's not a proceeding.
He said he doesn't want the Cameron Reed case to go to trial.
Okay. But still, it's an opinion, and he did it out on the web. It's really important for the people in Norfolk to know about this story because the jury has chosen from there. Again, opinion. Again,
I don't know, Paul.
allows for that.
Paul Carroll says, Artie, are you telling me Anderson Cooper doesn't threaten witnesses in criminal cases like this on a daily basis? I don't know, Paul. I haven't been following Anderson Cooper. I've been following the mainstream media in any like significant sense in a very long time. But I feel like Jake Tapper or Anderson Cooper, I don't know. I haven't heard of them you know, harassing potential subjects of a story on a daily basis. But, you know, what do I know?
I'm sure that, or I would hope, that if any of these statements would have violated YouTube policy, they could have contacted that and had it all taken down. In addition, I would provide that this is a lot of reports, and for some of these conditions to apply, such as controlling his followers, I'm not sure how we would do that. I would believe.
Classic YouTuber defense right there. I can't control everything my followers does, which is, in fairness, that is true. But you as a creator also have some level of responsibility for your followers' conduct. You obviously can't be held completely accountable for what every single one of your viewers do, but people can draw inferences based on your conduct, what you say, and what you advocate for as a creator.
Well, he specifically tells them to engage in
Yeah.
this behavior.
But
You'll see
which is
that
my
as the
point.
case
Yeah.
goes on. Yeah, and honestly, if you're gonna so after watching this arraignment, if you want to watch sequentially, you're gonna go to the bail review hearing because after I don't want to spoil the video, but he got out on PR, right? So and you'll see the very simple boilerplate conditions to his release at this October 11th arraignment. But he wasn't happy with the condition that he couldn't contact his victims. I shit you not. So they took it up to Superior Court to a bail review, and the arguments that they made. This guy is not his lawyer, really. This was a court-appointed attorney for the purposes of bail because he was arrested and drug it. And he didn't have an attorney, so he's going to get another attorney 2 weeks after this, and then they're going to go and they're going to try to review the bail. And the arguments there actually are worse than this guy. I feel like this guy gets a bad rap. He just literally picked this case up because he happened to be in court that day and he was like the bar appointed attorney.
I'm not knocking the guy's the PD is doing his job. I'm not knocking him for it. I'm just saying, like, yeah.
He did the best he could with what he was given, which is a lunatic.
Right. So yeah, thank you, Paul Berry, for the $2. I'm probably not gonna go to that. I'm probably gonna go straight to the whatever the new charges were from 2 weeks ago, and then I'm gonna call it a night because this is a lot to take in. But I'm sure I'm gonna give
you homework.
Learning a lot. yeah, clearly. All right.
He were allowed to continue to pursue the story with his bail warrant, that the police could access or take a look at further events that he does. Meaning that if he calls for one of these rolling rallies, someone will give a call, they can go out and they can determine whether or not it's intimidating or if there's a charge that applies. I mean, that's what I'm arguing to allow the First Amendment to go forward and to allow the prosecution to continue to monitor the situation. They have police involved, and then each event that comes out of it is under bail warrants. If he does something wrong, he's happy. And that would be my argument.
Thank you. Attorney Mello, if you would, for the court and police department, would you identify the alleged victims in the various complaints by name? I think I have them all, but I want to make sure.
I will, Your Honor. In the first instance, it is Juliana Albert. In the second instance, Judge, it is Christopher Albert. And those are these are in addition.
I was paying, think with the $5. I guess so.
Next instance, Judge, it is Michael Proctor. Then we have Colin Albert. This the intimidation of a witness with a co-conspirator was there were two victims in that matter, Judge. Jennifer McCabe and Elizabeth Proctor. Those were incidents where the vehicle registration was run. We have Jennifer McCabe. We have Matthew McCabe, and that is the remainder of the complaints so far, Judge.
That is a list, if you will, of the alleged victims in the case as to which you're seeking specific conditions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, in my view, given the individual's lack of criminal record, I don't, it's not a cash bail case. I'm releasing him on personal recognizance. Also, I don't see it as a GPS case. I am not opposing a GPS. What I am doing is opposing the following conditions. Stay away, no contact from each of the named witnesses that were just listed by Attorney Mello and captured by the court and the probation department. Stay away, no contact. That means direct or indirect, including but not limited to mail, email, text, telephone, social media, or any via any other mechanism, if you will, direct or indirect from all of the named alleged victims. Mr. Reynolds, I'm sure you'll advise.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like somebody from Boston has to clue me in on whether or not that honking is typical Boston, or is this actually related to the case?
No,
Oh, no!
what it is he's got supporters outside, so they've got signs, and so
Jesus.
that's what they're honking at. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Judge, Jennifer McCabe and Elizabeth.
The alleged victims in the case as a GPS case. I am not opposing a GPS. What I am doing is opposing the following conditions. Stay away, no contact from each of the named witnesses that were just listed by Attorney Mello and captured by the court and the probation department. Stay away, no contact. That means direct or indirect, including but not limited to mail, email, text, telephone, social media, or any via any other mechanism, if you will, direct or indirect from all of the named alleged victims. Mr. Reynolds, I'm sure you'll advise your client that that is broad, and that is broad from my view on purpose. And if it comes before me or any judge, and a judge would find that he violated a release condition, he is subject to incarceration for up to 90 days without bail. Okay. Thank you. We need a date.
12-5. I mean, that's not honestly not surprising. And honestly, those seem like very, because I'm not surprised he's getting a PR bond, given the lack of a criminal record and the lack of a serious flight risk. But I feel like the no contact order of the victims is also pretty bog standard, as you said. So the fact that he's upset about that is kind of wild to me. Because it's contacting, it's the contact that's the alleged crime. It's the constant contact and the constant harassment. That's literally the crime. So the no contact during bond should not be surprising.
And he made so many arguments, so like ridiculous arguments. Pretty much, I can't do my job if I can't go to where these people are, which is just like insane.
All right, so this is the one from 2 weeks ago. Faces expanded charges in new grand jury indictment, and this is going to be it. And then I'm going to call it a day when it comes to this mess.
Do you want the background on it, or
are they? I mean, my assumption is that these are related to.
No. No. Well, kind of, not really. So, Turtle Boy has and 2 children at home, and then he has a girlfriend. Like just he's using the blog to scoop up vulnerable women and have sex with them and have these relationships with them. And this one
mean,
didn't turn out that well. Yeah.
Who
So he had a
among
girlfriend.
us among content creators do not come in and no. I mean,
I have
Christ.
not engaged in such practices personally. So I have not done that.
I like how that's
you know.
explicitly the one thing I'm so afraid of whenever I do this thing is because I don't want to end up being that guy, because that always seems to be happening a lot with a lot of content creators, and it always ends up being really, really, really bad and really, really, really cringy. But okay. All right, let's go. YouTube creator ethics at play. Tones, I imagine your fans, you gotta beat your fans over with a stick just to get a coffee, you know?
Who, me?
No, I'm talking to Tones in chat.
What?
Guys, I'm forever alone. Stop it.
You are muted.
So that's his attorney that he has now, his paid attorney, Tim Bradle. There's been some controversy over the payment because he's told a few different stories about how much he's paying this guy and for what, but he's crowdfunding the fuck out of it. Like, blew by the Chili lawsuit debacle already.
Oh,
like,
wow.
almost $100,000. Yeah, so like double what we had to put down, with Chili. And this guy is a former prosecutor who actually was involved in a case where they hid evidence to wrongly convict a guy of murder who sat in jail for like 10 years. So I think it's ironic, given the accusations that Aiden's making, that he hired a guy who was proven to do essentially what he's accusing the DA of doing in Karen Reed's case.
So just to let you know, you guys are going to pool, so we just have one still and one live, okay? Everyone's on the same page with that, right? Okay. Well,
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Thank you for the 5 gift memberships. I appreciate it.
that's it. Okay, thank you.
Oh my god. Cringe.
It's a cult.
Tell me you're virtue signaling without telling me you're virtue signaling.
What's the session? Please be seated.
You are unmuted.
Judge, this is number 6 on our list, Commonwealth versus Aiden Kearney, 23A2CR 313. Can I have counsel identify themselves for the record, starting with the Commonwealth?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kenneth Mello, Special Prosecutor for the Commonwealth.
Okay, Mr. Mello.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Timothy Bradle on behalf of Aiden Kearney, who's here before me for the record.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for hearing us.
All right, you can be seated. Okay.
Judge, it's on today for arraignment. May I proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Bradle, does your client waive the right to a full review?
We do, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. 1 through 8, intimidation of a witness, 9 through 13, picketing, and 14 through 16, conspiracy. Mr. Kearney, how do you wish to plead? Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty. Plead. Thank you. Question of bail?
Not bail, no.
I beg your pardon?
Sir, Bishop, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, and I'll hear you.
Your Honor, preliminarily, I'd just like the record to reflect, there's been several conversations between defense counsel and I believe Mr. Brittle and I have actually gotten along quite well.
Good.
Thus far, anyway. And with respect to the timing of this arraignment, I'd like the record to reflect that there was some public comment that we had represented to the defense that the arraignment would not take place until after the Christmas holiday. It was advanced to today, Your Honor, because Mr. Brittle will be away, and we're looking to accommodate that schedule. So I would like that to the record to reflect that's the reason it's being held when it's being held.
Sure.
In terms of...
we were open for business next week, and we were prepared to do it next week, but
right.
I understood Mr. Bradle was going to be away.
Thank you. So, Judge, obviously this proceeding today is not being held in a vacuum. Your Honor has heard the facts of the cases that gave rise to the indictments appearing before you today. Unless Your Honor wants a summary, I will not repeat them. It's certainly been discussed publicly in this courtroom before Your Honor.
Right.
To save...
I don't need a summary. What are you suggesting as conditions?
Your Honor, we're looking for stayaways again. One of the problems we've had, Judge, and I've spoken to Mr. Brittle about this several times, the defendant has, in the Commonwealth's opinion, continued to violate the...
Why does he say defendant with that emphasis on the syllable? I don't know.
Original conditions of bail, including
just so this is the indictment, just so we're clear.
If Your Honor were to look at the video, provided Mr. Brittle has received a copy as well with thumb drive, it's clear that Mr. Kearney is encouraging his minions, his followers, in the
minions,
blogs and YouTubes, etc., to continue to harass witnesses.
YouTubes.
He'd make a statement such as,
"There's the boomer.
You can't do this," and I'm not telling you to do this, but you can do this. But I'm not saying you can't do this. Don't put words in my mouth. You know, read between the lines. Read between the lines on approaching these witnesses. And he's made similar statements several times. And it's the Commonwealth's contention that this is a very disingenuous way that the defendant is indirectly encouraging others, or encouraging others to indirectly harass these witnesses and to intimidate these people and take it in front of their homes, etc. What I can represent, Your Honor, is that we had the grand jury proceedings underway. The Commonwealth was aware that most likely this matter would be before Your Honor or before the Superior Court in relatively short order. We did not proceed with bail revocation in the District Court. However, I can assure Your Honor, and would like the defendant to be on notice, that if there's one more instance where he is online suggesting to people or encouraging people, either directly, disingenuously, or whatever the case may be, and encouraging in some way to read between the lines, that we will be back before the court seeking a bail revocation as well as a dangerousness hearing. I would ask Your Honor to fashion some type of order that Your Honor believes would be effective in precluding this defendant from going online and encouraging his followers to essentially continue his pattern of intimidation.
What specifically are you asking me to order?
Judge,
you're asking me to write it.
I'm sorry?
What do you want me to say?
Well, that he should not encourage, intimidate directly or indirectly to have his supporters or encourage his supporters to approach witnesses.
That's what the district court said. You have to stay away and have no contact with the witnesses directly or indirectly.
Or I think perhaps language that prohibits him from encouraging others to do so. Judge, it may come as far as not even mentioning the names of the victims that appear here. I certainly understand that there are First Amendment arguments that are being made, and we're extremely sensitive to that. We're extremely sensitive to the fact that the defendant claims to be a journalist covering the case involving Karen Reed. We're aware of all of those things. However, the lines blur, the lines cross, and he is hiding behind the guise of a journalist encouraging basically as an activist. And when he's doing so, that's what we're going to ask Your Honor to preclude him from doing.
We say that about First Amendment auditors all the time, don't we?
These particular witnesses in a context that would encourage others to approach them or communicate with them. I know it's very difficult. If you see it, you know what it is, but it's very difficult to define it. And I think it's
just like prawn.
Defendant to say he's not engaging in it when he's saying.
Hold on 1 second.
Sorry.
All phones off, please.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think it's extremely disingenuous of this defendant to say, I'm not encouraging this, when he's using terms such as read between the lines.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bradle.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. We would just maintain our objections that we've earlier made before the court as to stay-away orders on probable cause, First Amendment and due process grounds. Ask that you just maintain that for the record in terms of our objection. As to any prior restraint on Mr. Carney's speech, counsel for the Commonwealth is having trouble articulating it because it's such a problematic area. I think that, how are you going to do this? Mr. Carney has a First Amendment right to encourage people to exercise their First Amendment rights. I've advised my client about the notion of indirect contact. When you tell someone to contact someone you can't contact on your behalf, that's indirect contact. He can tell people under the First Amendment, he can share his views with his readers or his viewers, and they can do what they want. He's allowed to encourage them to speak out against what he sees as corruption, what he sees as mismanagement of the Reed case, etc. I've advised him about the notion of indirect contact. We have a disagreement, counsel and I, a respectful disagreement apparently, about what constitutes violating these orders. These orders are, in effect, prior restraints on his First Amendment activity, Your Honor. So they must be narrowly tailored and strictly construed. And in this case, we've discussed it. My client and I think we know as best we can what can and can't be done. In terms of speaking out, that's not harassment, that's not witness intimidation, that's journalism. And it's cloaked by the First Amendment, Your Honor. So I would object to any attempt to sort of craft a prior restraint here, Your Honor. And we'd object to any sort of effort in that regard.
All right. Your client consents to the stay away, no contact, direct or indirect, with the various victims.
We don't, Your Honor.
We
object for the record.
You object?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Mr. Mello, under what statute do I have the authority to compel Mr. Kearney to stay away and have no contact with the victims?
Well, Your Honor, it's common practice, as Your Honor is aware.
I'm not talking about common practice, Mr. Mello. I'm talking about what statute authorizes me. This is not a district court proceeding, which is subject to Section 58 of Chapter 276. This is a proceeding under Section 57 of Chapter 276, or I have authority under Section 87 of Chapter 276 to impose conditions with consent. You don't have to ask for personal recognizance. You can ask for bail. You can ask for dangerousness if you think that's appropriate. But under what statute do I have the authority to set conditions to which Mr. Kearney does not consent?
I believe that, well, obviously, Your Honor, you would have to sign the terms and conditions of bail. We could do that through the context of a dangerousness area, which the Commonwealth prefers not to employ at this point in time.
You haven't moved for dangerousness.
I'm sorry?
You haven't moved for dangerousness. You haven't invoked 58A.
Right, we have not, sir.
Right. So what statute authorizes me, absent Section 58A, to impose conditions on Mr. Kearney's release, if you're asking or consenting to personal recognizance?
I think
or even if you're stipulating to a particular bail. Section 87 is different than Section 57 is different than Section 58.
I understand that, Your Honor. I think in total, both Sections 57 and 58 would give Your Honor the authority to impose certain conditions, especially when it comes to the witness.
Is this the same judge who was before him in the first instance? Or is this a separate judge? I assume it's the same judge because the prosecutor did say that, like, this is a continuation of something you've already previously heard, right? So it's the video is at 1.25 speed, by the way. So that's why it sounds fast. But if it's a new judge, then I understand where the judge is coming from in encountering the prosecutor, because the judge doesn't have the knowledge that we have. So he only has a very, very, very small window of what's going on here, assuming that this judge has no prior knowledge of everything that's going on here. So I see where the judge is coming from.
I think the challenge here, Judge, is we have competing interests in each other. We have the competing interest of a claim of journalism and personal
Section, you said 57 and 58 together give the court authority. Section 58 applies to the district court, right? And Section 57 applies to the superior court, right?
Correct.
And 58 has a provision in it that says, if the judge, I'm going to paraphrase now, of the district court determines it to be necessary, the defendant may be ordered to abide by specified restrictions on his personal associations or conduct. I quote that now to you in Section 58. I quoted it before in my earlier decision, right? Section 57 has no such provision, right?
I would argue, Your Honor, that although it indicates that the district court judge may do it, certainly comes under the purview of the superior court. I know that the intent of the legislature was to narrow the authority of this particular court and make it less than that of the district court. It's normally that these matters are instituted in the district court before they arrive at Your Honor's level, and I believe that's why the legislature perhaps put that language in, but I don't believe it precludes this court from doing so either.
You have a case that says that? I mean, the statutes are different.
I wasn't expecting.
You came in
asking
me to set a set of release conditions that you knew Mr. Kearney wasn't going to consent to. He objected to it before in the district court.
Judge,
I think the district court was entirely within its power to set that condition, and it was appropriate for me to uphold that condition. I think it's an appropriate condition to be imposed in this case, in the superior court, but I don't know if I have the power to do it under the statutes, and I'm looking for some authority that you might have indicating that I have the power to do it.
Well, I would ask Your Honor to order that he comply with all laws. The general provisions when someone is released on bail, the Commonwealth will take it from there.
If he's released on bail, he doesn't have to sign anything with respect to personal recognizance, right?
No.
You're asking me to release him on his personal recognizance, right? You're not asking for me to set bail, and you're not giving me any authority to indicate that I have the right or the power to impose conditions on his release.
I would suggest $1 bail, Judge, if that's what.
Well, excuse me for a second. I have the power to impose conditions of release under Section 87, including stay away, no contact orders, with the defendant's consent, right?
Understood.
Okay. So.
I mean, I realize I can appear before Your Honor asking for a high bail, which I don't believe the Commonwealth would be honest to do. We don't expect Mr. Kearney to not appear, at least at this point in time. The normal condition of release, Judge, would be that he comply with all statutes. If Your Honor is not inclined at this point in time to fashion an order, the Commonwealth certainly appreciates the court's position.
I don't have to order him not to commit crimes. If he commits another crime, he'll be in front of the court on a violation notice. I don't have to order that. He's already subject to the law as everybody else is.
We would indicate that's an indirect violation and we would proceed back in court, Judge. I'll accept Your Honor's ruling.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Bradle?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. All right. I'm going to, on the Commonwealth's recommendation, release Mr. Kearney on personal recognizance. The Commonwealth not now looking for bail. I do find that the Commonwealth has asked for conditions to be set on Mr. Kearney's release. But the Commonwealth provides me with no authority that I have the power to do that over Mr. Kearney's objection. The statutes are a little bit convoluted. General Laws 276, Section 87 allows me to set conditions on release if the defendant consents to those conditions. Here, Mr. Kearney doesn't consent to those conditions, and the provision in Chapter 276, Section 58 Paragraph 1, last sentence, which I quoted before, authorizes the district court to set conditions on personal association or conduct, including avoiding all contact with an alleged victim of a crime. That provision does not appear in Section 57, which is the provision that applies in this case for the setting of bail in the Superior Court. And while that provision, Section 57, authorizes the setting of conditions in 209A and related type cases, this is not one of those enumerated in Section 57, which allows me to set conditions on Mr. Kearney's bail over his objection. This is a bail setting under the first paragraph of Section 57, which does not have the same language as in Section 58. So I am hamstrung, at least with the authority given to me by the Commonwealth.
Oh my God. Really? So the fact that the Commonwealth didn't want to set a dollar amount of bail, the judge cannot put conditions on him in a PR bond unless he consents.
Mr. Kearney on bail. He knows that if he commits a crime, he'll be back in front of the court in quick order. So you'll make sure of that, Mr. Mello, I'm sure. Anything else? We need a pretrial conference and a pretrial hearing date.
I would suggest something in February for pretrial conference. Later in February?
February 7th, all right, for a pretrial conference?
I would ask for the 16th.
16th, sure. I'm going to be, it's not a good week. Actually, no, 16 is fine. February 16th, that's fine.
And then something in April for pretrial hearing?
Also the 16th. Still is that it?
April 16th?
April 16th?
Yes.
Can't do it, I'm sorry. Can we go to the following week?
Sure.
23rd?
Yes. Is that what it is?
It is.
Mr. King, you'll be released on your own personal recognizance. Please be advised, while on personal, if you're arrested for a new crime, you can be held without bail for up to 90 days, and your failure to appear at a court appearance result in a fine of up to $50,000 and/or 5 years in jail. Your matters continued at 2:16 at 2 p.m. for pretrial conference and 4:23 at 2 p.m. for pretrial hearing.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, please.
Well, all right. Well, apparently something new happened recently, but I don't have the time or the patience to get through all that. So I'm gonna have to save that for another day. So we're gonna have to end it right there. Yeah. This is a lot. Apparently, a lot I have to catch up on. I guess. So I want to thank you guys for. Hold on. I do want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it as always. I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. And I'll see you guys Monday. I'm probably gonna drop in on tomorrow's stream, and you know, see what news been coming up here. But thank you guys as always. Much appreciated. You guys have a good rest of your evening, and I will see you next time. Yeah. Adios.